States and Canada, then good afternoon to you folks. And obviously this will be recorded as well. So yeah, what's this session? This session is an opportunity. Obviously, the majority of the people who are in this channel have been following the webinars that we've been doing. We're not talking about the Al-Bayt general ones. We're talking about the specific ones that we've been conducting as a team, Hajj AE. And a lot of the folks that are already in this group will have heard a number of things that they're pretty much educated, because our channel and our group, obviously this is we're doing this for the third year running. We're very comfortable with the setup and with our people and the like, and so we know what to tell people, what to do, and information to release at the right time. But we're obviously aware that there will be some folks in this particular webinar that have not actually experienced anything from Hajj AE so far. And so I want you guys especially to feel comfortable. You probably haven't even had an experience in Telegram. Telegram is a wonderful platform for these kind of events, because some of the problems with Zoom and the kind of fractured nature, you won't see that in this one here. So what will happen when we open it up to the floor, you click on your name, whether you're on the phone or watching this on a laptop or a computer. What you will do is that you will just raise your hand. You will see it as an option to raise your hand. When your hand is raised, then you'll be unmuted, and you just then jump onto the microphone. We'll say, okay, unmute, go. And you'll see the smooth kind of nature of it. And we're going to invite as many questions as we can take. This session obviously has a slightly changed agenda, because the theory was, if you remember, what was the advice that I have been giving, that we're not going to rush the e-wallet process, that there will always be something that will happen in the first day or two that will need a little bit of, learning. Just like in AI, we have the concept of machine learning. Then human learning also applies, meaning that we've got to see the system, weigh it up, understand what's going on, realize the best practice, and then tell the people. And especially when we have been emphasizing again and again, especially in this channel as well, that we're going to be focusing on paying by card as opposed to doing bank transfers, even though bank transfers are completely fine and okay. But the advantages of a card, which we'll come to for those folks that don't know, being smoother, quicker, and the like, then even with the current delay in the whole process, plenty of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to be able to fund your e-wallet, means that you don't need to be that guy that does it on the first day or the second day or the third day. A small example of this is how many questions are being asked. Do I fund the e-wallet if I am verified and my mother isn't, and we're in the same family unit? Husband and wife scenario. I am verified, but my wife isn't. I am not the lead pilgrim. My husband is a lead pilgrim. I'm the family member that was linked. I've been verified. He hasn't. Should he fund the e-wallet? Now, this is something that even we don't know for fact. We have theory, we have practice from 23 and 24, but why would we need to create some kind of panic and tell you that no, it can't be or it can be, when Nusuk itself will tell us when it goes live in a day or two? But obviously people are obviously anxious, and this webinar, despite being heavily curtailed by the fact that Nusuk didn't go live, and I want you to realize that the main intention behind this was it would have gone live on Monday like they said it would, Sunday or Monday, whenever it was meant to go live. We would have had 1 or 2 days, so this was very intentional. We would have had 1 or 2 days to allow the noise to calm down, everyone's excitement, blah, 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 blah. And then tell you, right, now it's time for us to make our move, right? Now it's time for us, now that I've collected all the data, collected all the facts, because as I've been saying in the last few webinars, and this is for everybody. Again, I don't want people who are listening to this thinking this is very Hajj AE specific. It's not. Actually, this is anyone who's been educated and staying up to date in the Al-Bayt guests chat, channel, and webinars specific. They are the most educated of the Hujjaj, because I know that all of the partners are very, very much on making sure that everybody has all the information, right? So I'm not trying to be patronizing any single way, but we are very much, as under Al-Bayt guests, in a very privileged situation, in that we have all of these folks that are sharing all the names that you know, all of us that are involved in answering the questions. We're doing it A, because of our experience, B, because we're doing the things ourselves, doing it for Pilgrims as well as our own accounts, and C, because of our closeness to Al-Bayt, we're getting responses from Nusuk. And we're understanding what they can do and what they can't do. And then there's a gray area where even they don't know what they're doing, and they're doing learning as well. We forget that, by the way, that Nusuk is a grand idea in a few elitist folks, or the elite, I should say, I don't mean in a negative sense, in a Ministry of Hajj, that they've put on a whole group of people who are mostly immigrants that they're trying to explain this great vision to, and they're sitting there coding every day trying to make it work. And the coding that they do is in response to what they're seeing work and not work. So there's a lot to blame Nusuk for, and how stressful it can be and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. But I also want to say that I think by now you've also realized some of the rubbish photos that you guys have been uploading, which have been hilarious. I just come right now from the masjid, right? Right now from the masjid. Someone come up to me and says, I feel bad because people are saying that it's Nusuk this, Nusuk that. I just want to show you what my mum uploaded, right? And he pulled out his phone, and this is how so this is the picture, yeah. This is how it was uploaded like that. It was uploaded like that. I said, bro, what do people expect, Yani? And obviously we've been doing resizing and fixing and all the rest of it. So it's a learning experience for everybody, and it is very frustrating. And it is also very worrying. Obviously, we've seen this before. Nusuk missing deadlines is as normal as trains coming late in the UK, where, it's going to happen. And a much more interesting question is that does this mean that the February 9th launch date will be delayed? The answer is possibly. There'll be some people, and they've been speaking to me and saying, behind the scenes, they said, we knew that it was going to be delayed in the first place. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but obviously its starting late has almost automatically set up for a delay. Here's the thing, you can't rely upon that. And I've been speaking about this in the Al-Bayt webinars and of course in our own group here, and I'm going to repeat it for the benefit of everybody. The people who are successful are those that have a good strategy, right? Strategy is essential. And sometimes strategy requires more effort, and sometimes strategy costs more. What do I mean by costing more? So, for example, if you're from America and you are funding your e-wallet, now you've got a couple of options. I want you to think closely. Now, I know this might not apply to the folks to the Brits, but the example should make sense, right? So if you've got the Americans, unfortunately, they don't have the access to all of the amazing cards that we do in the UK. So Revolut, Monzo, Wise, blah, blah, blah. The digital fintech type of banks that have very low costs, no massive amounts of staff to pay for, don't have to pay for rent premises, blah, 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 on the high streets. And so therefore, they're able to offer no transaction fees, excellent MasterCard exchange rates, very quick service, immediate live chat. It's a dream, okay? Also, very few limits when it comes to payments on card, especially when paying from your home country. The Americans don't have that. They also don't have a culture of debit cards. So they're full of credit cards, which come with lots of charges. And then when they're going to make a payment, into their e-wallet, 3%, they're going to get charged on a transaction. I want you to think about this. If your average charge is £10,000 a package, just for the sake of argument, 10 grand for a person, right? 3% of that, £300 every time that you make a payment is just going to the thing company. So you can see how stressed they are trying to research what's the best card, what's got the minimum fees, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, they get told that there's an option of a bank transfer. And they look at the bank transfer, and the bank transfer, it says it will take 5 to 10 days, and it's only going to cost them $20, for example, or £20, just the international banking transfer. And the system that you're paying into, which is your wallet, you've got an IBAN number there. You've seen it. It's not active, okay, but you've got an IBAN, and that's specific to your account. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you have an IBAN, the account that wants to be paid, if it has an IBAN, you give it to your bank, and that's it. They don't need that much more. Sometimes they ask for address, blah, blah, blah. And you would have seen in the tutorial, you would have seen it on the Al-Bayt channels and chats that we've, the little guide that gives an indication of how to do it. And we also did it in the previous presentation as well. This on the Hajj AE channel. You can check out the videos. That when you make the transfer, it will give you all of the information that you need to give to your bank. And so therefore, you have an option there. And a person might say, right, I'm going to save myself 200 quid here or $300 here, and I'm going to do a bank transfer. Now, I say to you, absolutely. That's what the system was made up for. It's saving you money. Why not? But let me put a word of warning. That is a step into the unknown. You lose control. And in this process, control is everything. Yeah, to give you an example, how stressed are you not having control over who is actually seeing your documents? Wouldn't you love it, for example, if you could go to a counter where the Nusuk people are sitting and they've rejected your photo or they've rejected your residency document because they don't know that BRP is a thing, or that a green card, what it means, or that BRP's expired and they've been replaced by e-visas. But you're there at the window and say, by the way, listen, this is it. Look, it's expired and whatever. And the person looks at it and says, oh, right, okay, and does. That control is not there. And that's why Nusuk is so stressful. Likewise, why would you introduce into the system more variables, more lack of control? And that is the reason why, even though we're not saying you can't do bank transfers, you absolutely can. But if it introduces a more, I don't say doubt, that's not the right word, but it's a variable, right? And you want constants, you want stability. When you don't know exactly how many days it's going to take, vis-a-vis or compared to a card payment, which has to be instant. It tells you, there you go, authorize it in your app, you open your app, authorize the payment, and then it goes through straight away. If it doesn't go through straight away within 1 minute, that I can go right onto the live chat and say, I just made a payment. They will look and they say, yep, we can see you making a payment. And you say, why did you block it? This is the reason we blocked it. I'm going to unblock it. It's me. Here's security, extra security, job done. We love that because it's control. If that's going to cost more, so be it. This is called strategy. Why is this part of strategy? Because it allows you then to delay having to fund your e-wallet. Why would you delay in wanting to fund your e-wallet? That gives you more time to understand the packages that are available. Gives you more time to understand what is it that's important to you. So it is important to ask yourself, what is your strategy for going to Hajj? Is it that I'm ready to go with anybody, first come, first serve, first idea, a person who pitches an idea to me, I'm going to go with them, or I'm going with the shortest, or I'm going with the quickest? If you don't have any kind of strategy or any kind of actual proper principles on how to choose a Hajj package, and I've spoken about this in previous sessions before, that a person who's deciding to go to Hajj because they leave from the local airport, or I'm going on this Hajj because it's the one that has the closest hotel to the Haram. I know that this is a person who doesn't actually have the right mindset to understand what Hajj was about, or where Hajj fits in order to with respect to the objectives that you should be thinking about, which is to have the most spiritual experience possible, that the Hajj is accepted. Yani, what good will it be flying from Manchester because you live in the northwest of England? What good will it be because you didn't want to travel down to London, or you didn't want to go to Scotland or whatever? So I want to go from Manchester, whatever. And you end up with a group that hasn't got the ability to be able to explain to you at your level of knowledge, or your level, or doesn't have the skills to interact with you and make you understand at your level, the important things that you need to do to make sure that the Hajj is actually correct, or that your mindset is one in which you're spiritually actually appreciating what the Hajj is meant to do. Because if you think that going to Hajj and the reward which is going to be achieved from going to Hajj was something so great that like the consequence of Hajj was all about the reward. And what is the reward, by the way? The reward of going to Hajj, the Prophet ﷺ said, is that they will return like the day that their mother gave birth to them, which is sinless. I need to tell you something. You can do that by making sure that you pray between Dhuhr and then do whatever you want in between, and then pray Asr. The Prophet ﷺ said that the obligatory prayers, يُكَفِّرْ مَا بَيْنَهُمَا, that they expiate what is in between them, meaning they remove sins. News alert, folks. Hajj does not remove your major sins. There's only one thing that removes major sins. It's called Tawbah. And Tawbah doesn't need 10 grand to be spent on it, and for you to go and boil in 50 degrees and be there for 10 days or 20 days or 30 days for that to happen. Tawbah can happen right here, right now, right in front of your phone. You can make sure that Tawbah occurs tonight. But you got to have the mindset. You got to have the focus. You got to have the education. You have to understand what the Hajj is about. And the Hajj is not about forgiving your sins. The Hajj is about you changing your life as a result of it. The Hajj is you turning a new leaf and making sure that your whole life is about obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not come out of Hajj on a path that develops you further, you didn't understand Hajj in the first place. Because the word Hajj, like, no patronizing, I'm not patronizing anybody here. I ask all of you, how many are on? 323 people are on. Does anybody know what the word Hajj means? People will be like, yeah, it's the pilgrimage, blah, blah. No, I mean, linguistically, what does the word Hajj mean? 99% of the people on this call have absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. So let me tell you, the word Hajj is derived from the word to go on a journey, on a particular type of journey. And if you think, like the cultural grandfathers and our forefathers, that the Hajj for them was the last thing that they do in their life, I can just, live and enjoy my life and not pray and not cover and not X and not Y and not take my deen seriously and enjoy a riba and enjoy whatever. But when I go to Hajj and then I'm called Haji and then I come back, I've got to grow my beard and because I went to Hajj and they're going to be holding me accountable and they're going to be saying, what kind of Hajj was this? And so I have to start practicing, and I want to delay that kind of miserable life, miserable practicing. I don't want to be practicing Islam, otherwise I would practice it now at my 20s and 30s. I'm going to live my sinful life and do it just like our elders and like the cultural Muslims do. They push the Hajj away right to the end of their life, because for them Hajj is the end of the journey. And yet Allah and His Messenger and the Sahaba, they taught us that Hajj is the beginning of your journey. The Hajj is an essential opening step. It's not the culmination. It is the completion of obligations for many people, but it's not the end journey that cultural people and secular people believe. We are Muslims. We practice our deen according to how Allah and His Messenger want. So it's so important that you have the time to assess everything that we have, the roster that's in front of you, and you choose not what's the most convenient or the shortest or the one that works best with Lucy in HR or the one that's going to give you the least hassle when it comes to work and time taken off, or the one that's only due to your favorite imam or whatever. You need to choose that program that's going to be the one that's going to prepare you the most, the one that cares for your development the most, the one that's got the logistics, locked down. And of course, it's acceptable to use a few other things that you need and whatnot. And we discussed that. And for you to take your time and assess all that's on offer, because there's a load. And I don't just mean Al-Bayt either. There's lots of providers. Al-Bayt have clearly the best and the most, experience. Then you've got amongst Al-Bayt as well, the different programs, different lengths, different locations. Take your time. Assess what's going on. The e-wallet's not going anywhere. The quota is not going anywhere. This idea that people think that the quicker that I pay my payment into my e-wallet, the better the chance that I have. First of all, that's laughable, right? Again, not insulting anybody. Where that comes from doesn't make any sense at all. I can tell you how many people last year if credited their e-wallet the day before the actual program went live. So imagine February 8th, they're putting their money in, right? And all of them got their places and the places that they wanted, and they planned and they looked and whatever. What do I mean by planning and looking? Not just understanding what packages are on offer, but also what rooms are on offer. How much am I willing to change and understand from the partner that I'm working with, the partner that I'm focusing on, or a couple of these companies that I'm looking at, or these providers or Hajj program guides that I'm in touch with? Let me understand actually from them what kind of options that they have, so that I know that if, for example, when it comes to the crunch moment, and remember what the crunch moment is going to be, because we're going to do all the prep before, aren't we? We're going to we're going to fund all our e-wallets. We're going to have the amount, so we'll know in a couple of days whenever things go live and know exactly how much we need to put in. We'll multiply it by the amount of people in our family unit. We might stick another couple of, percent on top just in case something weird happens. But we know that we can get that refunded. It costs 1.5%. Take 1.5%. Who cares? At least we know that there's no shock system, something, weird occurs. We'll do the refund afterwards. So we know that how much money is going to be in. But what we need to understand from these different providers is that, right, I'm targeting for me and my wife a double room. And that double room, I'd like to fly from Manchester. Okay, then. But what happens then on the day itself? It goes live. I've already placed, I know the code for Manchester. So for example, in our program, it will be I don't know what it is, but for example, it will be 1400 AU, AE, and then a letter to indicate Manchester, another letter to indicate London, another letter to indicate New York, another letter to indicate Toronto. All the packages will have this kind of variation. And you will be choosing, for example, Manchester, AE 1400, AE 1400, AE Manchester. And you've clicked it and added it to your cart. The sums are perfect. The cost your e-wallet's ready. On February 9th, when I log in, you're going to get, well, as soon as it goes live, you know that it's been told 8 p.m. UK time is going live. 7 o'clock, you're sitting there in front of your computer, in front of your phone, got a couple of devices. We'll cover all of this in webinars coming up, by the way. All the strategy will cover. And you're there. It goes live. We told you it's live. You logged in, and then you just go straight to your basket and you press buy. And then the whirring comes up, and your heart's in your mouth and you're dying and everything, whatever. And then it comes back as accepted. Great result. Second scenario, it comes back and it says Manchester sold out. Immediately you've got to think to yourself, right. And you've got a list written there, okay, that Manchester double is sold out, but maybe Manchester triple is still available. Okay, is that my second choice, or is London double? Because double is so important to me. And now I need to go back and make sure that, and so obviously this strategy here, this is still within one program. So let's say, for example, the AE program. You've made your target double Manchester. Then you've made a decision that the next one is going to be double London, because I really have made double the most important thing. Alternative strategy is that it's all about location. For you, you've made the decision, this is the program I want to go with. But now it's the second kind of preferences, which is location. So now I want to go for Manchester double, and I need to be ready for Manchester triple. And then I need to be ready for Manchester quad. Now, if you are connected with your partner, and all of the groups are you've seen how many of them in the Al-Bayt channels, message us if you need help, whatever. Everyone's ready to help. Everyone's ready to try and give the best experience possible. So use it. Be in one of the partners, or if you need to be multiple, be with them and understand exactly what it is that your group or the one that you want to go with is able to tell you or give you in terms of strategy to help you and understand what is it that's in your favor. That is more likely for you to be able to get a place in a quad, for example. So be ready for that. Now, you might look at a program and realize, I don't think I want to be in a quad in that program. Let me tell you, the quads in our program are fantastic. The people have the best experiences. You've seen obviously all the material, the website, blah, blah, blah. So for us, it's a different story. People aim for the quads because ours is a different vibe entirely. And in another program, which is not about a tarbiyah program, it doesn't have like a base camp, or doesn't have, certain aspects, because it's gone for like a different type of hajj, like a non-shifting, majar al-kabsh, more expensive type of experience. Then it's not about the whole community. It's not about learning and stuff. It's a different set of objectives in its right place. And therefore, you might not want to be in a quad in that scenario. So you would then consider location. You'd consider room type to be more important than allocation, and you're ready to travel to another city to fly. And so, for example, you might have another program that doesn't even have a quad option, and you know that it won't be offering a quad option. So you know that it doesn't have a quad and a triple, it's only selling doubles, for example. This is information that you will know, you will assess. You might make a decision that the double is so important to me, which would be crazy, that I'm willing to leave the program that I wanted and go to another program that's offering a double. This is a week-long, 10-day, 2 weeks process. The e-wallet you just will fund nice and slow in the meantime, and you will have, with webinars and grilling your partners and being in their various groups, understanding what kind of options that you've got to increase your strategy of getting the place that you want with the program that you want, because the program is the thing for you to make sure that your Hajj goes best possible. So I went into that diatribe in order for people to understand that the real things that you should be focusing on is not what people are focusing on. People are panicking about, obviously, verifications. That makes sense. I'll have a word about that in a second. E-wallet makes zero sense why people are worried about that, especially when you've been hearing us consecutive months. In our channel for here, we told people in October to open up their Starling bank accounts, Monzo bank accounts, and start crediting them. There are people that are just starting that right now, just opening it right now. So they're late. but they're not too late. It's okay, because these kind of banks open up very, very quickly. That's one of the mazir of them. That's one of the biggest benefits. Your focus should be making sure that your payment method is credited. Don't worry about the e-wallet. Like I said to you, that even if it opens tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we're still not crediting. Those people are trusting me as their and I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong way to do it. I'm just saying experience. Those who are trusting me to guide them through this process, I'm saying, guys, chill. Just chill. Let people do. Let people learn. Let me come back and say to you, right, guys, here's what we're doing. You can now go and make a payment. There's no lack of access. There's no open, close hours. 24 hours in a day, you've got to make a 5-minute payment. Especially, as I said, if you're willing to take the hit and avoid taking the risky route of bank transfer. Now, if you turn around and say to me, hey, I'm going to be honest, I'm taking 9 people on my family. 9 people on my family, and I'm in America, and I have to pay for credit cards. That's going to be 90 grand. What are you going to do? I'm going to say, bro, before anything, I'm a pack first. There's no flipping way that I'm paying 9 times 300 quid to make a payment. Yeah, I understand you. I'll for you, bro. That's like 2-3 grand of fees that I can avoid. I'm doing a bank transfer. And you know what I'm doing? Right now is where I'm doing my major study, making it clear in my head, who am I going to go with? So I don't need to do this process during the e-wallet kind of payment phase, those 2-3 weeks. I'm making that decision right now. And now I'm very confident I'm only going with this provider and I'm going for this type of room, but I'm willing to go with that room. That's job done. The day that e-wallet's open, by the end of the day, the same day, we'll have enough information, then I'm initiating my transfer. Take all that 90 grand in one go. I save so much money on the transfers, and doing it right at the beginning means that I'm giving a good 10, 12, 15 days for that bank transfer to occur. That's an example of when I'm willing to do a bank transfer in that kind of extreme situation where there's a lot of money riding on it. The charges and fees will be huge, and I'm very clear about my strategy. But the majority of us are not in that scenario. A lot of people are still thinking, confused, whatever, looking around. People haven't spent a lot of time. I mean, my group are, they're being educated every day, so they're pretty confident. But also here, the people, if they've got cards that are making the payment easy, there's no reason at all to consider bank transfer. Therefore, there's no reason to worry about e-wallet and when it opens, when it doesn't open. You get what I'm saying, folks? I hope that makes sense. Now, on the issue of verification, a very important point that I want to make, and now I'm going to almost go into Hajj with AE mode, because it's easier for me to speak to people and tell them something they don't want to hear, right? Because they've already done a lot of the groundwork and know that when I say that, it's only for your best interests. We are happy in our group, and I'm sure, I can't guarantee or speak on behalf of all other partners, but they should be, and I hope that they will be, but we will be happy to receive from you, all of you that haven't been verified, all of you to reach out to one of the helpers that you see in the channel and in the chat. And we pinned the post in the chat, okay? So obviously, if you're in the channel, join the chat group. There's only half of the people in the channel are in a chat group for some reason. If you want to see the helpers, join that. Message them your residency document that's not been allowed to get verified yet, or your photos or your passport photos. We are all of the people that we've helped so far, and we've been saying this since a week now, that we are intentionally going in. If you've not been verified, the least that we can actually lose is what? Absolutely nothing. Just that effort of you sending it and the effort of our team doing it, and they're ready. So if the team are ready to take and look at your documents, look at your photos, resize them if necessary, and then send it back for you to resubmit, tick, resubmit, and then that will, as it's shown so far, most people have been waiting a long time and not verified so far. It's because of something that they didn't realize. And so we're telling you openly, all of you that have not been verified, all of you who have not been verified or got somebody in your family unit not been verified, message one of our team, focus on some of the names that are not being used so much. Okay, Hajj with AE Help Miskeens, got about 26 million that he's done, right? Like Suhail Hakim, for example. When you're choosing in a partners group, if you're choosing the one main person, you're kind of slowing it down for yourself as well. So just send it to one of the other team members. They're all fully trained on what they need to do, and they will help you get it done. And inshallah, by the way, we can't verify. We don't have like a hotline to Nusuk, and we're half of our team, as I said before, we're not verified either, but we're relaxed, we're chill. We know that it will happen. I know people are stressed, but please, if you focus on what actually is important right now, you're going to be in so much a better place. Now is your research time. Now is your making the decision about what is it that's important to me out of Hajj. Is it really just to tick box the Hajj, or is it the experience? Is it the development? Is it the quality of the information I'm receiving? Is it the all the things that these are decisions you need to make now. Then you've got all the time in the world to then wait for e-wallets to come and verification to occur and to correct these verification processes and the like. I think that's what I wanted to say. Also, I want to say something else. Obviously, the team, we have a very big team at Hajj AE, and I want to say that a number of our people have medical concerns as well, and we're going to be doing a dedicated medical health issues. So I know that we have a number of pregnant folks as well. So the level of pregnancy, what the precautions are required. We have a number of people who are cardiac patients, and the levels of heart failure and the level of weakness or the level of difficulties, physical and the like, differ. Levels of medication, availability of medication, all of these matters. Half of my team is of a medical background. All of us got a medical knowledge, and we work in the medical background. But Dr. Abid Sami, of course, who is the face of everything medicine, mashallah, in the Hajj game, and of course with Hajj with AE. Obviously, you saw him all over the socials last year as well. All the social media things, you know Dr. Abid Sami very, very well. He will be leading that alongside myself, and we will advertise that. That's actually open to everybody. All right. It's obviously he's going to be key part of the Hajj with AE team, but the webinar is open for all folks to come and ask their questions right now, because that is also important. Because if you believe, and erroneously, as we've proven in the last couple of webinars, that shifting is more advantageous for your disability, and vice versa, that non-shifting is more advantageous for your disability, you've got it wrong on both counts. If you believe that shifting is a bigger problem for your elderly, no, so not in disability, but your elderly, and if you believe that being non-shifting makes it easier for your elderly, you got it wrong again. There is no such thing as one of them being intrinsically easier. What makes it easier is the logistics and the organization of the people who are running that program. What makes it easier is the Islamic credentials of the guides and the scholars that are leading the program, that will know how to make the Hajj easy. But when they don't need to make that walk, when they don't need to make that effort, when they can deputize other actions. Again, this goes to show that what the people are thinking is important is not what is actually important. It is the credentials and the quality of the service that you're receiving and their experience that's going to make your disability easier, your elderly and their care easier. The people that actually are understanding the game are most armed with the most amount of knowledge. They're the ones that are going to be able to fix this challenge for you. So anyway, to help with some of these questions, medical questions and the like, we're going to announce that probably in the next couple of days when it's going to be. We're going to do it after the e-wallets open to remove the rush, because obviously when the e-wallets open, people are still going to then lose their minds. Let that rush calm down. In the next few days, we're going to organize that medical webinar, and you can then save your questions for then. It'll be a very nice kind of easy way of doing it. I don't know if there's anything formal I need to continue with. I want to open the floor now, folks. Okay, I've rattled on enough. And so with that's going to manage this. What you're going to do now, folks, is just lift your hand and then keep lifting. And then your hand will come down after a little while. And I want you to lift your hand again. And then when you're told by Widad, okay, now unmute yourself, then you just ask your question. Widad, you good? You got this under control?
Yep. We'll start with Hatib and then Makeda. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly.
Yalla, Hatib, unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Just have a quick question. So as you mentioned that about when the package was open, you'd let us know this package. There's two questions for you. Number one is that, are we able to add few more package, for example, 2 rooms, supposed rooms?
As it stands, no. As it stands, no. You know, what we will be doing, right? And this worked in 23 and 24, and I hope that it will work in 25 as well, is that we're going to be giving you short links. So you've already been introduced to the idea, if you've been through the Al-Bayt PDF package, the way that the packages will look. Obviously, in the next 1-2 days, there'll be a document that's going to show all the packages. That's going to give you a rough idea of the dates. Now, I say rough idea. Remember, everybody, it doesn't matter what package that you're going with. the dates are not guaranteed. The flight schedules are not guaranteed, even though it says in print, even though if it says in Nusuk. My group know this already because I've told you about this in the previous webinars. But the amount of times that on Nusuk, the information was given that the flight is on this day and the flight is at this time, and it actually wasn't. Because the way that the formatting is, you can't put the actual right one in. And sometimes they themselves messed it up as well. And so therefore, it's very, very important for you to know that even when you're booking a flight, there's a plus minus 1 to 2 days. That might come as a big shock. This is actually very normal, even in any kind of era when it comes to Hajj flights and providers. Forget Nusuk. This is not actually a Nusuk issue. Most of the time, it is the airlines that actually change this on people. And they're like, there's a massive load on every logistical provider here. So the hotels now dealing with this massive influx of tens of thousands of people. Now these tickets that are being provided by Turkish Airlines, Saudi, blah, 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 these dates and the like, the logistics behind it is massive. So I want to say that the flight that you see that's linked to Manchester in a particular code, with a particular provider, in a particular room will have a code. And then the same package going from London will have a code. Will have a code. And we were able to produce links, URLs, that represent that code and that location that it's leading from. And therefore, we'll publish those codes. The partners will do that in their own groups. And you will have that pinned and saved in a document. So part of your strategy is that even though you are only allowed to add to your basket one, but you have on your browser, and this is strategy, we're going to be on laptops or computers. And on one tab, you're going to have the Manchester double URL open. And on the second tab, you're going to have the Manchester triple tab open. And on the next tab, you're going to have the London double tab open. Right there fully. And then another one, and then another one. All of the ones that you've got as your backup. Now you come back to your main window that you're signed in on. February 9th, it goes live. Bam, you go straight to your basket. In your basket is Manchester double already ready. You press click, 10 seconds, comes back, sold out. Now, listen to me. The statement sold out also means things. There's going to be statements that are going to take us about a week or so for us to confirm with you. The messaging is essential. Sold out what? Is it the program has sold out? Is it the room allocation has sold out and you can try a different size room? Is it the country quota is sold out? Well, then it's done. The phase is closed then. Now you're waiting and praying that there's a phase 2 in which the Hajj ministry, after all of us begging them, like we did last year, they increased the quota and they added another 1,500 on or whatever they did. And they did it in 23 as well. And so there's a good hope that it could happen. We don't depend upon it, but we hope. And then you know that I'm waiting for that phase so that they can increase the quota. So neither did the flights run out, your Manchester or London location. Neither did the rooms run out. And if you're in a group where the partner is giving you good information, like the good groups would, okay, and we absolutely will here as well, then you're going to know because we're going to tell you that actually, listen, you've got space in this room, you've got space in that place, you've got space in this. So if the quota comes back again, then you're going to shoot. Now, so I want you to understand, if, for example, it's the sold out message of the flight or the room type, you immediately go into the other tab and you press add immediately. It's already open. It's already there. You press add. It gets added to your basket and it buys it straight away if it's available. Imagine that didn't work. Your third tab that's already got. So even though we would have hoped that the system was an intuitive one, and by the way, there's still a possible chance that Nusuk doesn't upgrade and it does actually introduce this preference system. This preference system, like I said in last week's webinar, was there from 2023. Didn't work. In 2024, they left it there. Didn't work. And the weirdest thing is that they've released the 2025 version and it says it there, my preferences or my favorites or whatever it says, and it still doesn't work. At least they're doing our best and keeping it. They're giving us fake hope. Remove the option so that we don't break our hearts and then make it easy. But they've left the option there. Does that mean that they are hoping to release an update and make it work? Who knows? But my point is this. if you are with a program that knows what they're doing, and you're with a group that is in control, and you're willing to trust them and give them the time to be able to create the strategy for you, you're going to be absolutely fine. And you're going to know exactly then what to do. Whatever we can get out of the system, like preferences, not whatever, then we will. And when they're not available, then we'll have alternatives that will act almost like in the same way. Again, we'll explain this more. Hatib, I hope that answers the first question. What was the second one?
So second question is that, as you mentioned, my concern is that when they open on a Nusuk's day one, as you guys mentioned, that it's open, go for it, right? Log in. And there's a chance that the whole thing will be crashed, right? So that's the only concern on it, because I'm from Toronto, and we have some other packages, not this related to Hajj, but other stuff, and we have the same thing too. Government says open one day. For example, swimming classes, I try to register on it. The whole thing is crash on me. You try to refresh to get on it. So I'm just wondering that it will be the same day for everyone, or it will be different days for different people?
No, so it won't be different days for different people. It will be one universal moment. And obviously, we will make sure that you here in this group, we will make sure that all of the people in different time zones are given specific help as well. So we already know in our group here, we already know that there's some traveling on that day. And so we're going to be made available to help people sign in, help people to, give them advice on which family members they can use and which other friends and family they can use, and whoever from helpers they can use that can log in for them, help for them, whatever it is, whatever is legal, whatever is available, we will have a team to help people. We know that it is at one time, and we'll make sure that nobody is disadvantaged because of their location. As for that which we can't control, which is, as you said, it crashing, it is very likely to crash again, unless that they've done an amazing upgrade, but it crashed in 23, the crashes of all crashes. And then in 2024, it was like, hold my Zamzam, and it crashed you on a whole different level. Yeah, it crashed so much that it took 3 days to recover. At least the first time around, it recovered the next day. But in last year, it crashed so bad. It crashed so bad that they had to apologize and all the rest of it. And whereas in 2023, they ignored us and blamed us for it. And then in the second year, they accepted that, it is what it is. And then they added, it was almost like a compensation. They added 3 extra sessions and they increased the visas. So I just want to say, it's not actually the biggest disaster for it to crash. It's probably going to crash anyway. But it's how they respond. If they then say, you know what it is, we're going to make it easier now. We're going to be more easier upon the people. We're going to give more visas. We're going to cover for it. That's even a better result. So I don't want folks to go into this with a negative. We're going to be with you on the way. Like in this group, it's going to be like, like these Twitch streams. Everyone's going to be streaming, right? So we're going to be there. Everyone's going to be on the thingy. I'm going to be here. Team's going to be here. We're all going to be logged in. And everyone's going to be, whatever. And we're going to be helping people, blah, 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 blah. And it's a whole buzz. Let me tell you, man, the vibe in this group, and when Nusuk goes live, is next level. And we'll have obviously, we'll have all of the options ready for if it crashes. Then when it's going to go live again, how to make sure that when it crashed, we understand what the things were that caused it to crash, or restricted access to certain people. What we found last year, for example, is that there were certain browsers that were blocking your access to it. There were certain browsers that were advantageous. That again gives us time to know, and then we'll make sure that you're ready for the next time that the phase opens post the crash. I just want to tell people, please try not to worry in a situation which is full of worry and anxiety and stress. You've got to leave that to us. We absolutely love that stress. We eat it for you, man. Why wouldn't you take that option? We've been there, done that, seen it. We have this big advantage. We know that it all works out in the end. And we also know that you guys don't know that. That's why we're not getting angry at you. That's why we're not getting upset at you. That's why we're not cussing you. We know how stressful it is to be on the other side and not been there. It doesn't matter how many people have told you when you're in it, it's horrible. We get that. Let us, take that stress for you. I think it's Makeda with that.
Yeah, Makeda next, and then Mahbub.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I need advice about strategy. Taking it back to what you said in the beginning of today's webinar. So this is my question. I have been watching this program, Hajj AE, for the past 3-4 years. when you guys are on Hajj, you know, Instagram, all of that, right? So I'm really, I really want to go with this group. You know, this is one of my dreams. But when I'm in front of the computer, let's say I'm trying to check out, but then the Hajj AE is sold out, but another program, some random program I don't even know, is open. I want your opinion or advice on what I should do. Should I just, you know, go with whoever and then that
the answer is a very good question, and part of the strategy, of course, will be, as I said before, once it all opens up, once we see and understand what Nusuk is going to have as part of its program in terms of, you know, does it allow certain options to be added or not, especially when it comes to the words that they'll be using, because that's very important, the language. We cannot guess that. 2023 language by Nusuk was different to 2024 language. When I say language, I mean the word sold out. It would say quota finished, quota exhausted, country exhausted. There's all these technical phrases that they're changing year upon year that mean very different things. And I imagine if you're not coached properly, this is why I take this so seriously. And you see a message that says exhausted, and you think, man, forget it. You slam your laptop down. Like someone in the Albeit group, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, they had so fed up, they said, I'm done. And this is it, man. This is how we identify the folks that have really prepared for this. This is the Hajj. It will push you to every limit that you knew and that you didn't knew existed in you. And as I've been saying from the very first opening, remember I opened up the Albeit seminars and I said, guys, get ready for the Hajj before the Hajj. In Hajj itself, you will be tested physically. Your patience, someone's going to upset you, someone's going to hurt you, the temperature is going to take you over that. Now we're seeing that in a much more, without the temperature, without the rush, without another person, but just online and through technology, people are making you go crazy. You got to ask yourself, have you got what it takes? Do you have the patience? And someone said yesterday, I'm done. I've had enough. Nusuk, it's Nusuk's mum, lanat upon Nusuk, and they slam the computer down. And I want you to be that person on February 9th. It's crashed again. You're logging there for 4 hours. You're absolutely knackered. And then a sign comes up and it says, program sold out. And it says, it says sold out. Just say, and you think, you slam your laptop down because you understood sold out to be that the country's quota of visas has been exhausted. But in actual fact, it wasn't. It was just double from Manchester that was sold out. And you've got triple from Manchester available, quad from Manchester available. You've got double from London available. You've got, guys, listen up. If you've been bored and you're sleeping and you're eating and you're texting on your phone, I want you to listen carefully to what I'm about to say. There will also be a potential London double 1 and a London double 2. You might say, what the hell does that mean? Well, what if I tell you that, for example, many of us are going to be on Saudiya because we have contracts with Turkish, Emirates, Saudiya, right? Big contracts. But if you think that the flights are all the same, so for example, leaving at 12 o'clock and coming back, or leaving on 12 o'clock on one day and then coming back at 8 o'clock on another day, and the group itself, you're thinking that its London allocation is all leaving at 12 and coming back at 6 or 8 or whatever. Actually, last year and the year before, we had 2 flights on the same day at the same time. So one was code SV111 and the other one was SV112, both leaving at the same time from London, the same flight essentially. And on the return, SV111 was coming from Jeddah directly to London, and SV112 was going to Riyadh and back to London. All of the partners have the potential to have their flights divided in this way. And the way that Nusuk works is in 2024, the way it worked was that it needed to give a code to the first flight, and that code was slightly different to the London double on the second type flight. Now you understand why you have to be calm. You have to allow things to be released. You have to allow us to even understand the packages. We still do not know the codes that we're being given. Are they dividing it into 2s and 3s? Are they dividing it as 1? And once we know all of that, then we're going to be able to tell you. Now, to your question, if I go for my first choice and is sold out, my first response is you were going to be educated to know what is it that's sold out. And it doesn't affect you that it's sold out. You've heard from me before, everyone going for doubles, listen, get ready. Quads are great. Triples are great. So that's going to be your next one. And then if that one sells out, then that's your next one. If you are in a scenario, and I will be definitely, I've told you, I've given you my promise that I will go through these packages and I will choose the one that I think I have the right to do that. Nobody can tell me, no, I can't do that. I will choose the program that I think is the closest to the one that's going to be the best Hajj for you. And I'll tell you, and I will say, if you don't get into this program and, blah, 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 this is the alternative that I recommend. Because I will not be saying, wait until next year just to go to Hajj with us. Because I'm not a businessman and I'm not here to profit from everyone having to go with me. It is obligatory upon you to go to Hajj. I'm a scholar, I have a responsibility. You do not have an obligation to go with Hajj with AE. You have an obligation to go to Hajj. And so if that situation comes up, I will be, after I've had time to understand the packages, look at all the key things that are important to me, and then all the things that will be important to you as well, price and location and everything as well. Add it all together, and I will say, if you don't get onto our program, then this. But I want to emphasize, I said this in the first 2 webinars, this year, I can tell you that your only enemy is going to be the quota. I'm almost positive, just like it was in 2024, everybody that wants to go onto their Hajj program will get onto their Hajj program as long as their quota doesn't run out. And as for Hajj with AE, folks, let me state it very clearly. Anybody that is committed to Hajj with AE will go with Hajj with AE 100%, as long as you are quick enough to beat the quota expiring, the quota finishing. When I say quick enough, I mean following instructions, following the strategy, you will get on. You don't need to worry about thinking negatively, getting depressed. And yes, we're going to tie our camels, and I'm going to give you an alternative anyway. But I'm making it so clear. I told everybody that last year, and I'm not saying that making it up. I can see the room capacity. I will be when this launches and whatever, I will know the capacity. When I say to you, guys, here's a poll. With my love and respect to you, help yourselves. I need everybody to answer this honestly. That's the reason, because it gives me the data. I then can see. So when I say Canadians only vote, I don't want US people voting on it. When I say Brits, this poll is for you. I want to know what you guys are planning to do, what you want to do. And only the Brits then focus on that poll for 48 hours. I get all the data that I need. I then compare it to what I have. I can then work out and understand this is the best strategy. This is the best strategy. So you've just got to trust the process. Trust the Al-Bayt process. Believe me, we are here only to try and make sure that you go in the program that you want to go in. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Barakallahu feek. Barakallahu feek. I think with that, is that what you're saying?
Mahmoub, I think, was supposed to be next.
Okay, Mahmoub. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
My main question was to do with e-wallets, but can I ask for a couple of clarifications from the
Yes.
first answer? You mentioned about multiple devices. Does the system allow for you to be logged?
It does. It did in 2024. If it doesn't, we'll let you know in 2025 in the next week. Guys, that's not going to work. We have to change plan.
Okay, the other thing you mentioned about certain browsers, are you able to elaborate on that and tell us which browsers
Yes.
are suitable?
So Chrome was fantastic last year. Others were not. Android did well on phones. Generally, we hate phones. And this year we'll update as well once we start getting a bit of our information after a week or 10 days.
Okay, so my question was about e-wallet. You totally lost me because it's my first time going through this Nusuk platform.
Yes.
You mentioned, so if I have a normal bank account, I have a credit card. Debit card, not credit card.
Yes.
A debit card.
Yes.
Is that sufficient? Or you mentioned something about Starling Bank opening.
You don't have to have Starling Bank, correct? You don't have to have Monzo. All you need to do is have a normal bank account, and you're going to go and use that card to buy an item. That's what you're doing. Okay. You got to look at the e-wallet as buying a mattress. I don't know why I thought of mattress. I'm thinking of mattresses these days. You go to the online store. There's the mattress. You just go in and you put your card details in. You press buy. That is how you credit an e-wallet. People are so confused about it. You don't need to transfer money to it. You don't need any details. You don't need any numbers. You take your card, whatever that card is, as long as it's either MasterCard or it's a Visa card, as long as it's either debit or credit, it doesn't matter. But as long as it's MasterCard or Visa, you go onto your e-wallet, you press top up, and you put in your number, and you press the amount that you want to put in, and you press enter, and that's it. Previously to that, you would have spoken to your bank and got them ready and say, guys, I'm about to buy an item. It's going to cost me 10 grand. It's 50,000 riyals. It's in riyals. They say it doesn't matter as long as your card does that. Obviously, all the Starling ones and everything, they allow you to buy in foreign currency. The price will always be in 50,000, 55,000, 45,000 riyals. You're going to translate it back to them and they're going to say, guys, I'm buying an item. It's being sold to me in riyals. It's 50,000 riyals. It's about 11 grand. And I'm going to be making that payment. Please don't block my payment. Then you're going to pay half of the payments are blocked. Half of the payments are blocked. It doesn't matter how much you tell the people. It is what it is. Sometimes you've gone over the limit and some cards have got 10K limits and some cards don't have limits. Chase, we found, didn't have limits, for example. Then you're going to go back and you're going to say, I just told you guys and you told me that it's unblocked. Can you sort it out? And then they go do their stuff, pass extra security. Then it goes through. You look at your e-wallet and it's done. If it's not done, you go back to the bank and you say, what happened? They declined it. Okay, what do I do then? Try again, reduce the amount. So then you go back and you try again. All of this is going to work with whatever card that you have. If you're not willing to put the big money in straight away and you want to do it in amounts, that's absolutely fine. One of our pieces of advice will be that you will not make it the same. So you won't do 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand, because that gets blocked immediately for fraud prevention. You would do 8 grand, 6.5, 9.5, 7.5 over, 3 or 4 payments, for example. And that's going to make sure that it doesn't get blocked. So it doesn't matter what bank card you're using. It's just that the Starling and the like is going to save you money. That's all. Mahbub, is that good?
Yeah. So how does the Starling save you money if you've got a debit card?
Starling saves you money because although a lot of what I hear, but lanat upon all these NatWest and Halifaxes and whatever, I'm so happy to have dropped them. So I have not been keeping up with them. But what I hear is that they've upped their game. But basically, these Starlings and Revoluts and these Monzos, these internet digital banks that have taken the scene over the last 7-8 years, they don't charge a transaction fee. That's the first thing, right? Number 2, they don't charge a commission for converting to currency. Currency conversion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like for example, just think about this logically, Mahbub. When you go to the airport, you make a decision. I'm not exchanging my money here because they're going to charge me here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then and when you got like a row of exchanges, the one you look for is the one that says 0% commission, right?
Yeah.
Right. What's the next thing you ask yourself? Which one's offering the best rate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that's the same with the bank. A Halifax or NatWest for 100 years and a day, what have they been doing? They make money off you 3 ways. The first is that if you're making a payment, we're going to charge you for the payment itself, like £2 or £3. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second is that we're going to make you pay 1% for whatever the amount of money that you're changing. Agreed?
Agreed.
The third is that we're going to give you an absolute bakwas rate. And they're going to only give you $1.1 to your pound when it should be 1.28. And they're going to pocket the difference. Agreed?
Yeah.
Then Starling and all these boys came along. They said, forget you lot. We don't have any costs. We don't have any overheads. So we're not going to charge you the fee. We're not going to charge you anything on the currency extraction or change. And we're going to give you the very best conversion. We're going to give you 1.28, sometimes even better. You can check online, you can check on XE, you can check Google, and you'll see that the rate will often be the same. It's win, 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 and it's immediate. And they've got a business model because so much money is coming in. They're obviously using that money to invest in places. They're making money off it, so they're happy. And we're happy because we're spending that money left, right, and center. People are traveling more and more. And so therefore, it's a really easy way to get in. And now that they've got people, they attracted people through the attraction of this foreign exchange kind of use, then they showed them that we're good at customer service and using your account normally as well. And that's why they're now winning and they're the biggest banks and they're winning all the awards and whatever. That's what these banks are. By the way, Mahbub, opening up these accounts is instant, right? It takes like a couple of hours or something. So you still got time.
Yeah.
Your HSBC Globals and your Halifaxes, they will still work. You don't need to panic, yeah? But you might just find that you might save amount. I don't know how much you'll save, but nearly all the time you will.
Sure.
All right, bro?
No, that's great. Jazakumullah khairan.
Barakallahu feek.
Next, if we could have Muhammad. The problem is we have two Muhammads who have spelled their names exactly the same. So let's go for the light blue Muhammad first, and then the turquoise.
Like he sees his color, bro. Or unless he does.
Let's see. We'll try.
Let's see. Light blue Muhammad. Unmute yourself. See, bro. What if I tell you that he's like he can't even see blue? How about that? All right, dark blue Muhammad. Unmute yourself. Turquoise, whatever.
Seafoam green.
All right, both of them not interested. See, they're both voted by you reappropriating their color choice. Turquoise, blue and green, man. That's what it was.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. You guys need to unmute yourself. Next, yeah, go on.
Let's try with Anwar Hussein, please. Unmute yourself to ask.
Yep, there you go.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. Thanks for the webinar. A lot of information there, really useful. Just a quick question regarding topping up the e-wallet. I'm in a group of 4 people. Can they individually top up the e-wallet, or does it have to be the main admin holder?
Yes, they can. That's one of the nice ways. If they're like 4 people, 4 friends, you don't need to put all the burden. Everyone can pay. The only problem with that, it's not a problem really, but the only problem is that, and you'll know that we're always saying put a little bit extra in, which means that there's going to be a refund, and the refund itself will not go in some kind of easy format. You will know when it's refunded, okay? But the way that it's then afterwards it comes back is going to need a little bit of work from you to calculate how you divide the refund afterwards. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So it's a complete minor. The advantages of having multiple cards to pay for people that don't have it is obviously, you take that. No doubt that if you're a family and it can be done with one card, then that's just easier in the whole process. But absolutely nothing wrong in using multiple cards.
Jazakallah.
React.
Ridaz jumped out, so I'm just going to take over from here. Ilyas, if you could jump on the mic.
And really, your microphone is so rubbish, bro. That's so miles away, bro. Try again.
Seriously? I'm on my iPad, so I thought it'd be better.
Right. No, it's really poor, but it's okay. I can just about hear. But Ilyas, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Quick question on, again, e-wallet. I have 6 folks in my family on my account. So there's a large amount that needs to be transferred. The services or the card that I'm using limits me in the amount of money I can transfer in a given week. So my question is... You said
the word transfer. I'm going to stop you. You said the word transfer. Is that because you are planning
wrong term. It's a cash card. So it's like a credit card.
Okay, but again, you use the word transfer. Do you mean pay, not transfer?
Pay, correct.
Yeah, because we've got to be clear now. Remember, like the example that I gave, you're buying an item. You're going to go onto the website and you're going to buy. And you're saying that you have a purchase limit, yes?
It's imposed by the institute, yes.
Yep.
So I basically need, in order for me, so I'm with the amount of
money that you need for people.
Yeah, that I need to transfer.
Yeah.
So 2 things come up is, what's the likelihood that the packages would open up a little later than the 9th? And the second question is, for how long should we wait once the e-wallet is available before starting to move the funds? Because how quickly I can start is a key factor for me.
Sure, it is. So again, like I said in my thingy, if you're with us, for example, then you're going to be very well educated to everything. And it's going to be on a plate for you what your options are. So you don't need to delay so much, right? You don't need to be shopping around and thinking and planning. So assuming that you're with us, then to answer your question, will the February 9th thing be delayed to give you more time? So as it stands right now, if we stuck to February 9th, that's 14, 16, 17, 18 days, assuming that the system went live on Friday. 18 days. Now, your question was, would it be extended? There is a possibility. Do we know that? No, we don't. Okay, but is it possible that it's extended? Yes. even if it's not extended and the e-wallet doesn't go live for another 2 days, you've got 18 days to put this money in. Now, a limit is either going to be 10K or 5K. 6 people, I'm going to assume 60K. Now, if you are 10K, that's 6 days of payments. I said again, 18 days that you've got. If it's 5K, it's 12 days. That gives you even worst case scenario, 5K limit, right? You've got 2-3 days to be able to allow the wallet to open up, learn some mistakes, learn some issues, no problem in the timing. You can make those.
No, I agree. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I've done the arithmetic. I have a plan B, because if this doesn't fully work and I run out of time, I'll just use another card that's
exactly
a little more
that.
expensive.
That's what I was going to say. There's always going to be the plan B where you've got other people where you're going to say, listen, I've got the funds here. Don't worry, but I need you to make payments. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the thing is, it's more than 10K per person, because this would be in Canadian dollars.
Yes.
So I'm budgeting about 20 per person for a family of 6.
Yeah, so I think that, I think that when we did the first webinar, right, and our program, obviously Canada is the most expensive because its flight is crazy stupid, right?
Yeah.
And we estimated that it was somewhere in the region of 18 and a bit thousand, right?
Okay.
And so you would be doing right to assume for now, for the next few days, that 20K per head Canadian is what you want to assume. And inshallah, in 2 days' time, you'll have the exact figures, and hopefully it's more closer to 18 than it is 20. And then, we can then start activating the plan. And of course, we'll be here to help you with that.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
All right. Barakallah feek.
All right, Rubina, if you could jump on.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khairan.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, I just had 2 quick questions. First one was, when we select package and see it's not accepted and it's sold out, etc., does that mean our money also goes, and then will we have to wait for a refund?
The money doesn't move. The money doesn't move until you actually buy something.
Oh, so when we select it and we check out, after we check out, is that when it shows that it's sold out, or before the whole checkout process goes?
So you're talking before it goes live?
No. So let's say it's gone live now, and then we've checked out, and then we are told that it's exhausted, or whatever the case, whatever term they use, sold out or whatever. Is that when will our money go at that point too?
Where will it go if it's sold out?
No, because what happened was my cousin I know 2023 is a different year, but she chose the package and then she purchased it, and then she was told it's sold out.
Yes. Forget 2023. 2023 was a I don't know, I can't think of a halal word to use. Okay. 2023 was a madness. All the money disappeared, all the people's wallets were thingied. No, 2024 they fixed everything. Remember that there was let me tell you something. This e-wallet situation only came to a fore properly in 2024, and it was the single biggest, massivest improvement. Yeah. It's amazing, actually, the way it works. It's very smooth, and I can't believe I say that about anything, Nusuk, but I did. So don't worry about that. That won't happen, what you just said. Inshallah, that won't happen.
Inshallah. And my second question is, will we get some sort of tuition or webinar closer to the time on how to choose a package when it goes live, the strategy?
What do you think, Rubina? What do you think, Rubina?
I believe the answer is yes, but I'd like
to
just
thing that you believe. Good thing that you believe.
Okay. And I just want to say one more thing. I know obviously our intention is to do Hajj, but I do just want to say, I really appreciate and make a lot of dua for you and your team. How much effort you put in. And one of the sisters in this chat actually reached out to me. You know who you are. And she was telling me that someone that actually went last year was with a different package, and she saw your team, and she actually wished that she was with your team. So obviously you're doing something right. And I pray that Allah puts a lot of barakah in this.
Ameen. So I want to say I really appreciate that, and the team really appreciates that. And we got a really nice feedback message from JT. We didn't know the name, we just saw the initials, and the team was so happy to read that. We really appreciate this, and it is a motivation for us as well. But I also want to say that I also make dua for you, Rubina, and your family, and all of the people in this group. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows all of you not just to go to Hajj, but to appreciate that it is one step in an incredible journey that allows you to become the best version of yourself. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for everybody to be on that journey, and that Allah accepts it, and that we come out on the other side as happy as 2024 and 2023 and the previous groups have. and that may Allah make us even happier. Allahumma ameen. I appreciate that, Rabina. All of the team appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu barakatuh.
Can we try Muhammad again? The one with just Muhammad on his name? Or...
Muhammad 1, Muhammad 2, light blue, turquoise.
No.
No.
We'll go on to
we have Pari, we have Adina, we have all these people. Who are you letting next?
I've seen Aisha's name here for a while. Aisha Mir.
Okay. Aisha Mir. Nope. Okay, let's try who? Dua, yeah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. I have 2 questions and both regarding timing. The first one, I'm asking if the topping up the wallet, I mean, the opening of the wallet is delayed, so they're gonna also delay purchasing the packages after or not? That's question 1. Question 2, once we check out or we hit okay for this package and for I mean, they taking the money, how long does it take before they actually take the money? Because my bank told me I have to call them within 24 hours of this purchase so they can open it. They cannot open my account just for purchasing, just to open it for like $30,000 or something. They have to do it for within 24 hours. That's it.
So the first question about will they delay the opening the February 9th, we don't know that. It's possible that they do. Once we find out, we'll let you know. The second question about how the payment works is that it's immediate. Like I gave the example, it's like buying an item. Topping up is an immediate transaction. You're not doing a bank transfer. You're going onto the top up, pressing the top up button. It says put in your card details. You press buy, and just like every other transaction, it will come up.
It will be taken from the bank
immediately.
Once I top up the e-wallet.
Correct. It's a
okay.
purchase.
So it's not even when I check out purchase. No, it's from the time I top up the e-wallet.
Correct. Your money is taken out of your bank account and it's put into your wallet. It's done.
So that's comfortable. Yes. Okay. So I just can tell them when I'm doing it. I can just call them and let them know, because then I will have a couple of days after. Okay. That's so relieving. Okay. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
So.
Right, Sabah, if you can jump on the mic.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Thank you for letting me talk. I just have a few quite simple ones. Can we make the payment through a credit card in e-wallet?
Yes, you can if you have to. I don't like credit cards, but yes, you can.
Okay. And the other question I have, me and my husband both have been accepted, meaning verified in Nusuk. We have separate profiles. Now we are thinking of like my husband wants to add me as a family member. So I want to understand the process. Once I'm added onto his profile, he becomes the admin. But then after that, will I lose access to Nusuk? Does that mean that I will not be able to log on to Nusuk and check the packages that are available?
No, you are able to. You are able to log on and check packages and do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, let's just assume something changed in a Nusuk update for 2025. Because last year you could, but let's just assume that they said no, you can't. You would log on as your husband. You understand?
Oh, okay, so
you can have multiple logons at the same time, and you'd be able to see everything anyway. So it's a minor. You get my point?
Okay. And does the linking takes place instantly, or are there any issues being experienced at the moment? You know.
So it does actually. It does happen instantly, and yes, I did hear in the last 48 hours that some people's linking was having some kind of issues, but there's no major problem that nobody can link, because you're hearing some are going through, some are not, some are delayed, some are not showing a button to accept. What you just need to know is that when he goes into my family and invites, the place to check is in notifications. You know where the bell is?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be any problem. Just do it now. You're both verified. Perfect time to get it done.
Okay, so I can still log on to Nusuk, because the reason why I want to check is because both of us are working and our timings are different. So we just want to keep on top of things, make sure timings are right. One of us can log in and check what's going on.
Yes. Listen, there's no logical reason why they would remove this. They did it. It was there in 24 and it's there now. Your question, which is a more specific one, which is that, okay, I can have access now, even if I'm not a lead pilgrim, but will I be able to see the packages? And the answer is, I think that you will, as per 2024. But if it happens in a couple of days when a package is open that you can't see them, then you'll just log on as your husband anyway. So it's not major.
Okay, because it sends one-time passcode to your email, so that
Of
will go
course,
to my husband's email.
Obviously, he'll have to help you and tell you the passcode. Yeah,
yeah, but if he's at work, he may be in the meeting. I may not be able to
okay,
get back.
So if that's the case, then you can set up an email forwarding. You can get, obviously, so you need to change what you need to do to work out your working schedule so that you can have access to his email or OTP. But I mean, that's a logistical thing you have to work out. It's not a Nusuk problem. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I know that. Okay. And there was another question I had that was regarding packages. Now, I know some of the agents have given an idea about their packages that will be available on Nusuk. Some of them have not. So how important is it for us to know the codes for the packages when we are making preferences or keeping it as a backup?
It's not that important because once you know what package you want, you will be able to find it, but it just takes long. That's why you have a code. And even more better than the code is what I told you at the beginning, which is the URL. So the URL that links directly to the package, if you know that, then you don't need to memorize anything because you just click it and it will go straight to there when it comes to choosing it. So obviously, the more you know about your package, meaning you know that it's Hajj AE and you know that it's Manchester, then worst case scenario, you're going to be okay. What's the worst case scenario? Your browser collapses, the link gets broken, the code is the wrong one. You put in 1400, you put in 14,000 instead of 1400, right? So all of that could go wrong, couldn't it? Yeah. So at least no, I'm going with Hajj with AE. I know I'm leaving on the 24th of May. I know I'm returning from the 10th of June. I'm not flying out of Birmingham. I'm flying out of Manchester. It will say it there. It will say Hajj with AE.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always are going to have multiple ways of making sure that you are on the program that you want to be. You'll have the backup of knowing the dates. You'll have the backup of knowing the airport you're leaving from. You'll have the backup of the face. I think they're using our faces as well, maybe, or logos as well, maybe. Okay. You'll have the backup of having the date. The name of the provider, and then you've got the code as the backup. Then you've got the price as the backup. Then you've got the URL, the short code, the short link. So you've got lots of backups that we will train you on. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying then when they are available to view, when we click on it, we'll be able to see all the details about that particular package, and we can open it and save that link. Oh, exactly. Okay, right, great. Okay, thank you. Jazakallah khair. That's enough. You've answered all my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
Okay, Farooq.
That's better, Tanveer. Now your mic's fixed.
Yeah, I switched my data.
All right, you see, cheapo Gus now, honestly, man. Farooq, where are you, Farooq? Farooq Nazimi, you need to unmute yourself. Going, gone. Okay, next.
Nasir.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I just wanted to ask the question in regards to tax on packages. I know it's like forward thinking, we've still got a couple of weeks and all that. But the thing was, when I posted a question on Telegram, channel, the admin or one of the admins told me that all the packages are inclusive of tax. And so when I was looking through the chat today, I noticed that another admin said, right, so take, for example, you're going to put in 9,000 to 10,000 Great British pounds, and then add, say, 5 to 10%, right, for an increment for this year. And so that takes it up to like 11 and a half. And then once tax is added, whatever the rate is for tax, does that, if it's the same tax as in this country, 20%, then that takes the total cost to 13,000 or 13 and a half. Is that the case?
No, that's not the case. So let me put it a different way. If you've been following us, then you would have heard me say that in the first webinar, I went through all of last year's prices, every single version, double, quad, triple for Manchester, double, triple, quad for London, the same for New York, the same for thingy. I went through all of them, and in the Riyals, and I gave the UK price as well. And then I said, if we assumed a 5% increase, then it would be this. If it was 10% increase, it would be this. Okay? And I went through all of them last year and gave you a rough idea. When you hear this statement, like for our program, that is roughly around 10,000, and that it's 5% on top, maybe, maybe not. That figure is always being stated inclusive of tax. Inclusive of tax. There is no further 20% coming, 15% coming. What's coming is only the increase in the cost of the package, because the way that Nusuk and Al-Bayt have done it is that they only state prices which are inclusive. Now, when you receive your receipt, yeah, it will break it down. You know, it will say, for example, 9,200 package, 800 tax, whatever. But when we're talking to you, whatever, then you'll see the price. And by the way, now, even this is kind of like irrelevant, because you will see these prices on the portal and on the portal in Nusuk. And I'm getting something interesting, by the way, Nasser. One of the problems we had last time when we published Al-Bayt, published the prices in a published the prices in a brochure, is that they did not include the taxes on there, even though the brochure is not anything official anyway. What's official is Nusuk, and Nusuk had it right, and so that actually that caused some confusion. And so that's one of the reasons why the actual brochure is not so important and doesn't bring so much value. What you see on Nusuk, you'll be able to check out. What do I mean by that? If you've been attending the previous webinars that we've been doing on this channel, you will have seen that I've spoken when it comes to strategy about what you want to be doing and not doing. So for example, all of my group will not be buying their Qurbani from Nusuk. Absolutely won't be. More expensive, not great information service, and most important, it delays the checkout process. Now, when you are in the next week or whenever the e-wallet's open, and I've just told you we're going to give it a couple of days and then we're going to add the packages to our wallets, into our checkout, sorry. You're going to go, and when you do that checkout process, it will check you out like as if you're buying it. So it will say, do you want to add this service? Do you want to add that service? Do you want to add this service? This costs this much. This costs that much. You'll be able to see all the price differences. And then it will say checkout, and then it will say total, and it will show you the price, and then it will put it in the your basket, and you can't buy it because it's not open. Does that make sense what I'm saying so far? Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
That price will not change. Now listen to me carefully. That price will not change until the 9th of February when you press buy, when it goes live. But you know what will change? Tell me what you think what will change. So it's a guess. I know that it's difficult, but I'm putting you on the spot just to think. There's a price. You've chosen double room from Manchester. And everybody answer this question to yourself, okay? See if you get it right. A double from Manchester. You're buying one place just for you. You're a lone traveler and you want a double room. And it's 50,000 riyals. And and it opens up on Friday. And you buy it and you put it into your thing, and you've chosen no extra, no this, no that, no qurbani, and it's 50,000. And you added it to the basket. And February 9th comes and you press buy. What will change between Friday and the 9th of February? The answer is how much you are going to end up paying for it from your bank account due to the exchange rate. So for example, on the Friday, 50,000 riyals was costing you 11 grand. And then blah, Saturday the 9th of February, it actually ends up being £10,500 because of the exchange rate.
Yeah.
Alternatively, £11,200 because of your exchange rate. So that's a variable which is down to the exchange rate, but the cost will not change. No taxes will go and added to that when you press buy. Nothing else. So you will know fully what you're paying in riyals once the e-wallet opens up and you see the packages. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sheikh.
All right, bro. Jazakallah khair. So I know I just want to make sure that we give Irfan Malik a chance, but I know there are other people in front of him, and SA a chance because I've seen their hands up. And myself, they're the only two I can see raising their hands, by the way. Right, carry on, Tanwir. Who's next?
Assalamu alaikum.
Islam.
Or was that Muhammad speaking now?
Yeah, SA is speaking right now with that. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. If we decided to go into a quad room, is it a hotel or like is it Nusuk people that decide who we're matched with in the 4, or will you guys match us like based on like where we're from or that?
So it has nothing to do with the hotel. They're completely irrelevant to this. And it is the guides, the package guide, like me, right? I'm the one who decides who goes into what room, okay? Meaning my team and the process, but our hands are tied by Nusuk. So I want you to understand this now. In the old system, you would come up to me and say, me and my family would love to go to Hajj with you and we want a quad room. So I'd say, right, that's it. You 4 are going in that room. That's it. You pay the money and I'd say that I tell the travel agent, I want these people to go in that room. He'd say, okay. Now under Nusuk, you are telling Nusuk, we 4 want to go in the 4 quad places that we just bought. Nusuk turns around and says, sorry, you haven't bought a quad room. You've bought 4 quad places. And you will go wherever you get put. So we're like, bloody hell, bro. I mean, how can you make us put in that situation? You haven't, helped us at all. There, Nusuk says, tough, you got to work it out. So then what do? We then sit there with 500 names or whatever, 100 names, and we're looking at this, and all we see, and I want you to understand this. What's your name, SA?
Safia.
Safia, we see just literally 500 names, and each name has quad, triple, double, and it has no other indication that we're in a family, that we are linked, we are X, that we are Y, that we are Z, and we now need to put everybody in a room. That's first priority is what? Safia, what do you think the first priority for us is?
Male and female.
Correct. That is halal, right? Yeah. So before we can let people say, I want to be with my mom, I want to be with my husband, I've got to whatever, we've just got a whole list of names, and we just got to make sure that there are no mixed rooms, which is what happened in 2022, the year before Nusuk, the year that the government took over and they put it all online. It was such a catastrophe that they had to change the name and rebrand and call it Nusuk, right? And people were going into their room and finding a guy there, random guy. And it was a disaster. So our absolute priority is to make sure that we get the genders right. Then, with getting the genders right, we're going to then try and give people what they wanted and asked. And rest assured that we're very good at what we do. We have a team that spend the next couple of months doing this. But it needs 2 things for you to understand. Number 1, a full and clear disclaimer that you are not 100% guaranteed to be with your family, but just 99% likely, but 100% no. In a group, there will be on average 1 group that is definitely not going to get what they asked for. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, I'm kind of asking from the perspective of, so like me and my husband are going, but we are considering doing a quad instead of a double now.
Sure.
But my husband...
Let me just say the second thing as well. So the first disclaimer is that we can only make this work and put people where they want to be with, number 1, that they understand it's not going to be 100% guaranteed, but it's just very likely that they will get what they want, whether it's sharing with other people or not. Because some people, like you gave an example, that they're a double, husband and wife, but they don't want to be in a room. They're listening to me, and I've said before that the best experience is in a quad with other people. But they want to be with other people, but they know that the other 3 people who they want to be with, because they're another, whatever, for example. And that's where it leads me to point 2. that all of this is completely contingent on following my instruction and completing the form that I will release to all of my group, and they fill it in exactly like I've asked within the time frame that I've asked for it. And if you do that, then you will be able to be in the room that you want to be in, inshallah, whatever the type of room, quad, triple, double, sharing with someone on the other side of the world. Because there are people in this group right now that have got family in America and they're in Canada, and they got a family member in the UK. Nusuk couldn't give a monkey's about you. Nusuk is actually celebrating this type of unit and saying you're all buying individual rooms, good luck to individual beds, good luck to you where you end up. And what we're able to do, mashallah, is that we are, with our form and the like, going to be able to put you and you and you into the quad room that you guys wanted, for example.
And based on that form that we fill in, will you, like the individual people like me and my husband, would you put us with people from the same country, or would it just be totally random?
Exactly. We have an algorithm, right, which we have in our experience used, where we try to match people as best as possible based upon certain factors where possible. There's a lot of limitations you got to understand, because we don't have control over who's coming. And then we've just got a whole group of people suddenly blast in front of us. And we will then do our analysis, do a study, do X, do Y, and try to make, and that's the, I've got to say, other groups find a real challenge with this. We're very fortunate in our group. And the reason is because in our group, everyone is very like-minded, right? It's because people are in this program because they want to be in this program, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has an Islamic thing, and they know who the person is. And so people are on the same wavelengths, if you know what I mean. And so therefore, it makes our job easier in matching people. And you might have seen some of the comments of the 2024 people who are in the chat group who spoke about this, you know, that they were really concerned about this. And then, but they realized that actually there was nothing to have worried about.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah, thank you.
Next.
I think you mentioned Irfan Malik.
Yeah, Irfan Malik, and I saw some Adiba or something, but Irfan Malik?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Jazakallah khair for all of the information. I think you have an amazing team. Allah may give them all a barakat. So I love how direct and structured you are. I think we all need that. I've hopefully got 3 questions. Number 1, can I get some clarity on how Nusuk will inform us of the time of when the release will happen? Will it be like a 9th of February at 6 p.m.?
Yes.
What is
based
the process?
Based upon 2024, it will be exactly that. Like a week, 3-4 days of before, they will say Sunday, 9th of February, 11 p.m. KSA, 8 p.m. GMT, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously prior to that, we would have done all the strategy of
100%. Here will be like online. Those nights, you won't forget those nights. We're going to be online and planning and making things and forensically going through things and making clear everybody what they need to do. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Jazakallah. Okay. Question number 2. I wanted clarity on the schedule. So in your previous webinars, you mentioned that you're looking, inshallah, to do 17 days. It's obviously non-shifting. You said 4 or 5 days at Medina.
Shifting. Did you say non-shifting?
No, sorry. I meant shifting.
Yeah.
17 days shifting. You mentioned that it will be 4 or 5 days in Medina, and then 4 or 5 days in Mecca, and then if I do my sums, that's 7 days then in the base camp.
No, 4 days in Medina, 4 days in Mecca, 3 days in base camp, and then all the rest of the days are the days of Hajj, essentially.
Okay.
Now,
got it. Okay.
Don't. I know this is difficult. Don't worry too much right now on the exact numbers of days, because you have at least 2 variants. Not 2 variants, 2 variables, right? The first is the Islamic calendar, and the second is the schedule from the flights itself. And so these things That's why we always say that whenever you deal with Hajj, this was back in the day as well, by the way, but especially in Nusuk era, every date that you see, like the date the 24th and the date the 10th of June, you always plus minus 1 or 2 before and after. That means technically in your head you should be thinking things could kick off on the 22nd, and I could be even leaving as late as the 26th, and I could be coming back as early as the 9th or maybe even the 8th, and I could be coming back on the 11th and the 12th, and that will happen. It happens all the time. And that is something that we don't have control over the moon, and we unfortunately, very frustratingly, get done over by the airlines as well. That's everybody across the board. But yeah, it's planned 4 days and then some, because in transport, 4 days and then some, and then in transport, 3 days and then some because of transport, and then the rest of the day of actual Hajj.
Okay, Jazakallah. And then the last question. On a previous webinar, you mentioned all the prep work that's going to be done prior to going on Hajj. And you also said there will be a face-to-face session in Manchester.
Yes.
Is there any chance there is going to be, I live down south, I'm in Sussex.
Yep.
Is there any chance there's going to be a face-to-face session near London?
There will be possibilities for folks to meet me when I'm coming down, because I'll still be teaching and doing things like that. But no, there will only be one big physical event. That because the logistics involved in doing that event are on a different level. Like you need to appreciate that it's hundreds and hundreds of people, and everything's got to be everything's got to be taken into account. The date, we already know our date because it's got to be planned a year in advance because it's a massive event. So it's the 4th of May. There's a bank holiday weekend, and I really do want people to come to it, regardless of where they are. So every year, people from right down Plymouth, Portsmouth, Southampton, let alone Sussex, and from Scotland have come in. People from Europe have flown in, and even some folks from Canada, whatever. However, of course, we understand if you are being honest and saying, I really can't make it because of prior blah-de-blah, then we will arrange for you to receive physical things that need to be given out for you at your airport of departure, such as baggage tags and things like this, and ribbons and important logistical things. Yeah. And of course, we have a very advanced, mashallah, AV team, because what about all of our Americans and our Canadians who are key, half of our team is in Canada, right? So this is not all about physical presence. Online is where we are specialists. Everything that we do online is of supreme quality. We have our own study portal. We have our own channels. We've been doing this for donkey's years. So if you genuinely can't make it, don't need to worry about it.
No, I think I was just asking the question. For the record, inshallah, I'll make the effort. Manchester that far.
Bro, you'll love that day as well. The effort, everybody. Anybody else that's thinking, oh man, trust me, that day is one of the best days. Honestly.
Inshallah. It's in the diary.
Aisha, please unmute yourself.
I saw Khadija's name also come up, just in case you missed it. Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Pari. I was given the option to unmute. Is that okay?
Go ahead, Pari.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Really appreciate all your advice. I have a question about the e-wallet. Again, we're a family of 4 registered under my husband's name. But am I right to assume that it's just one e-wallet that we would have? I know you mentioned that you could have multiple cards loading money in, but is it just for one e-wallet?
Yes, it is.
Okay, brilliant. And if he's already been verified, but the other 3 of us haven't, would you recommend that if the e-wallet is enabled, that he puts the money in, even if we haven't been verified yet?
As it stands, the answer is no. Okay. The answer is no, based upon what we know at the moment, right? Sorry. You're already linked. Yeah.
We're all linked under one profile, on my husband's profile, but he's been verified, and the rest of us haven't.
Sure. Then the answer is actually it's irrelevant, right? It was. I was thinking that you were not linked and you're going to be linked. That at the moment is the kind of guidance that we're following. And I want you to understand my language here. You see that this is something that we do not know for certain. And certainly myself and those who have got experience amongst the partners, We will not be definitive about things that we do not know. All right. And so this is one of those, this idea of people being linked, or not linked, but intending to be linked is a variable. And it's a variable that we have seen from last year, that sometimes having an active e-wallet blocks certain things. So for example, it blocks us as guides, for example, right, from going. So this happened to one of us last time, that we tried to credit one of our, so you got to understand, how does the guide situation, well, what's our interest here? We go to Hajj for free, basically, right? So how does that happen? We have an account, we still have to verify, and everything happens. And at the end, essentially they pay for it, right? If you put money in, it blocks it. So there is something in Nusuk that when people do things, it blocks things. And so that's currently our advice for those folks that have not linked but are intending to link, to not put any money in. As for the scenario of what you just said, which is that we are already linked, but we're not verified, at the moment, we're saying that that's not blocking anything and you can put money in. Now, why are some people saying don't put the money in? They're saying it from a point of view of, La qaddar Allah, may Allah not make it happen. But what about the crazy, for me, virtual impossibility, but what about the crazy situation that someone does not get verified, right? And in that in particular unit, then what's going to happen? So that's their argument. Well, actually, practically, nothing changes. Well, I'm saying nothing changes, but I mean, that person doesn't go. That person's money's not used. It's going to be refunded at the end. You're going to have to change the room thing that you were planning to go for, and the money would be refunded afterwards. It would just be you having to deal with the circumstances. So nothing would change per se, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Jazakallah khair.
All right. Well, yeah. Barakallahu feek. Thank you, Parry.
We have Sabah Beg.
Again? Yep.
We have Sabah. Go ahead, Sabah.
Sabah, go ahead.
Shaykh, it's me again. Sorry, one last question I had regarding, I just realized about visa. I know we will be booking packages and everything, payment will be made, but what will happen with the visas? When will they be issued?
I'm guessing it'll be approximately during Ramadan. Like it happens in the weeks that follow. So you think that all the stress is finished, yeah? What's going to happen is lots of fun and games. Then what will happen is that then we're going to be all over you, getting information to make sure that we get you into the right rooms. Then Nusuk is going to then be contacting you to do fingerprinting, which is the biggest pain ever, right? And everybody's going to, have all kinds of fun and trying to get their fingerprints, and they won't recognize it, blah, blah, blah. Then based upon the fingerprints, once that's done, then they're going to then start sending out the visas to different people at different times. So there's still a couple of months of fun and games ahead, but it will all happen. Another question which you're not asking, but I'll answer anyway for the people who are here is, what if this happens? What if that happens? And we need refunds and blah, blah, blah. That has not been published yet by Nusuk. As far as I know, when the e-wallet gets activated, then an accurate, up-to-date, with timeline, refund timeline will be published. That will say, if this happens, you get this back. If that happens, you get that back. Blah, blah, blah. I also want to say that there will be conditions that will be published as well. That will say, for example, before you make this payment to the e-wallet, you should know that you are not going to get a refund if you are refused a visa. This kind of stuff. Yeah. So there will be a list of statements that will be made when the e-wallet goes active, and there will also be dates. Like, for example, I want to say that they will say that the 15th of Ramadan is the last date that you can get a refund where you get something significant back, like 10, 20% or 50% or whatever. After that, you're getting nothing back, blah, 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 blah. So all of that will come out in the next few days, inshallah, when it goes live. Is that clear?
Yeah, so that means if the package is being booked, we've paid for it. If for any reason visa is not authorized or we did not get the visa, then of course we cannot go.
There will be some losses. How much, how many, I cannot tell you because they're going to release a refund schedule. The refund schedule will be published on Nusuk. They're going to publish it everywhere to make it very clear so that they don't get held accountable. And obviously, we'll need to analyze it as well because it changed from 23 to 24, and then we need to see the 25 version. So that's, like I said, don't worry about these things because that's for us to worry about. When we see that refund schedule, we are going to be like you, poring over it. The difference between me and you is I have experience. So I'll be looking at it, thinking, what does this mean? What's the likelihood of this? Then I'll do a session. I'll say, right, this is what they said. What it really means is this. This is how much you're going to lose. What it really means is this is how much you're going to lose. So we cannot speak about something that has not been released yet. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. And is there a rule of like a 5-year, like let's say if you have done Hajj within last 5 years, then they'll reject the visa for you?
Like I said,
is
no.
there any such thing? No. Oh, okay.
No and no.
Okay. And going back to your previous conversation with the other lady regarding allocation of rooms, so does it not make sense, let's say if the profiles are separate, that we book our packages separately, because in any case the rooms will not be, there's no guarantee that the rooms will be allocated together as husband and wife?
Who's we? Husband and wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. This is a strategy, by the way, that a husband and a wife do not link together. They stay separate and have their own accounts. But then the question is the husband ready to go without his wife if she doesn't get it? You see, when you're linked, you either both fail or you both go. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. So there won't be any option where one fails and one passes.
That's exactly what will happen if you are not linked.
Okay.
If you're linked, you are not possible to have one goes, one doesn't. It's either both of you go, both of you don't. 4 of you go, 4 of you don't. 6 of you go, 6 of you don't. That's the strategy. You get what I'm saying?
From visa point of view as well. So visa will also be...
Visa has nothing to do with that. Visa has nothing to do with that. Visa is every... You got to understand, like I explained in the first webinar. Did you see the first one? The first webinar?
No, I haven't. No.
Right.
No.
So if you look at the first webinar, I gave some examples that there was a person in 2023 that didn't get to go, and his wife went because he did not disclose that he had some security issues. And you know, the department that deals with visas is the Ministry of the Interior. Has nothing to do with Nusuk, right? And the Ministry of Interior, they are in line with the secret services, with the security services, with immigration, with the immigration of your country as well, blah, 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 blah. And they make the decision on visa on that basis. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's not an administrative, Nusuk is only an administrative body. So there will be people that will be rejected for reasons that they may know themselves and sometimes not know. But it's very, very rare. Like we had no one rejected last year, but in 23 there was one person that got rejected.
So what do you recommend? Is it better to stay separate profiles or have it together as a family?
Yes, family, yeah.
Family, okay. All right. Thank you. Jazakallah. Shukriya.
Please go ahead, Mohammed Patel.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Oh, Assalamu alaikum. Firstly, just Jazakallah for all your help with everything, being really useful. Just wanted a couple of clarifications, if that's okay. So firstly, in terms of the dates, I know you've mentioned that, I think you mentioned earlier about like, it could be that up to from the 22nd, for example. So I've booked off from Saturday, the 24th of May. So have you, or I may have missed it. So have you guys already released the potential earliest date that you guys might go? Or
we haven't, because we don't know that. And because, you know, when you said the earliest potential date, the earliest potential date theoretically could be the 22nd. I am very confident. So the longer the time goes on, I grow in confidence because I get to know information, right? And I know for the UK, for example, that the 24th and the 10th is really good. Our likelihood of those dates are very likely, right? And at best, it's a ±1. at the moment, right?
Okay.
For the States and Canada at the moment, and by the way, this is a situation that changes every couple of days, right? That we should be thinking plus minus 1, 2 for the dates. So that's the only thing that we can say at the moment. And as I said, and this is so important, this is not in our hands, meaning that like last year we had a change like 2 weeks before we left. And that is, and I want to say it was a +1 on the return, I think I want to say. Something like that. And it's crazy what the airlines get away with, to be honest, actually, but we have to be ready for it. But yeah, to answer your question, if you've already booked off thingy, you're looking good for 24th to 10th, inshallah. Looking good.
Yeah, okay. And then I just had 2 more questions, if that's okay. I know you mentioned repeatedly in the chat and on the webinars about quads, and that's fine. I just wanted to check that that's probably because there's going to be obviously a shortage of doubles. Does the same apply to triples, in the sense that, are you just suggesting that we should just kind of prioritize quads, or
no, what I'm
triples
saying,
be the same?
It's a really good question, and I will dedicate some time to this probably in a couple of days when we get a more idea. But I want everybody to listen carefully to this. What I am saying is that people must not be scared of sharing in a program, and I should say in a Hajj, in which everybody will be forced to share, even if you pay 50 grand for your package. People used to use their aql. They need to use their aql. That how much are you willing to risk going to Hajj because you want your double or you want your quad, knowing that whatever people pay it in whatever, that they're going to be in shared scenarios in at least significant 7-8 days of their program, if it's a 10-day program or if it's a 20-day program. And so they've got to really ask themselves how important that is. That's the first thing. The second thing that I ask people after I've said don't be afraid of sharing is that I say that trust me if I say to you guys, be flexible on your preference. So that's different to the first advice. It's slightly different. So this is not me now. In the first one, I'm saying don't be afraid of sharing. Embrace sharing, especially in this program. The second thing I'm saying is that whatever room that you're fixated on, just be ready to be able to go to another room and to be split up from a particular person, which is different to being ready to share. You might not be ready to leave another person. I'm saying be ready for it if the request comes. I can tell you that there will be at least 100 or 150 odd spaces for double in our program, for example. That's just basic, and we'll know when later that we go, we'll have a better idea. I know for a certain that there will be at least 180, 200 spaces available in quad. So, and if people, and then in triple, I know that there will be probably it's always a smaller quota. There will probably be like in the double digits type kind of numbers, like 30 or 40 or 60 or 80 or whatever, spaces like that. So what I'm saying is, imagine we don't know the exact number, but we have a good idea. But the real problem that we don't have is we don't know what people are going to do. Now, that's going to be the big challenge for all people. The reason that we are going to try to help folks is because, not because we have extra information, but because we are trusting our Hujjaj to add that level of commitment like you see us doing. A lot of people come and say, Jazakallah khair, Jazakallah khair, Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair for what? Jazakallah khair for the way that we commit to you folks. So we want a little bit back. So if people want to be the people that we like in this program, show that commitment back as well. So when we say, guys, we need you to fill this poll in accurately and not fear or be scared, it's because it gives us raw data that then allows us to make a calculation that will then allow me to say in a week's time, guys, stick to exactly what you wanted because you're going to get it. You get what I'm saying? I'm looking at the sums, I've done the maths, and there's no reason for you to switch to a quad. You're going to be able to get a double. My best guess, 70, 80, 90% certainty is that you're going to get a double. You're going to get your triple, and you are going to get your quad based upon my trusting your responses. And I know when you're not lying or not, because if I see that only half the group behind respond, I know that I can't have much confidence in my recommendation. But when I look at the numbers and I see that the amount of people that I needed to respond have responded, I have an increased level of certainty. So leave that to me. I will make that based upon the polls that I'll be sending. The first one, by the way, was very well answered and helped me a lot. And I want to thank everybody that did that, if I didn't do that already. And it gave me a nice kind of setup for some of the things that we've been doing and planning and whatever. And then the next ones are going to be even more important to make sure that everybody gets the best chance of the going on, obviously, this package in the room day one, or B, at least definitely going on this package. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Jazakallah. And the final question was just a clarification. You mentioned earlier about the London 1 and London 2 thing. Could you just repeat that if possible, please?
So what I was saying is that this can get to such a forensic strategic level that you will need to be aware to the fact, you don't need to be aware, we need to be aware, you just need to follow the process, that you might choose London double, 24th May out and June in, and you might not realize that there are 2 actual codes for that because there's a flight that's coming on the way back 1 hour separate. So one would be called London 1, for example, one might be called London 2. It might not be the case. I'm just saying that there are these levels of variation that exist in Nusuk. We will be aware of that. We will educate you to it. And when we say, for example, after a week's time, when we're doing our strategy, and I release my strategy list and I say, right, guys, this is what you do. For those that want to go for London, then if you want a London double 1 is looking good. And by the way, there's a London double 2, which is a flight that comes 1 hour back later. Or this flight might have a greater chance of you getting it because it goes via Riyadh, or this one is more likely because this one takes a bit longer layover, etc., etc., etc. So I will be breaking them down and giving you all of the best advice on that basis.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Jazakallah. Perfect.
All right, guys.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
Sabah? Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. I'm so sorry. I've been waiting for a very long time just to speak.
Yeah, go ahead, Sabah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. I'm just worried about the packages. Once you're onto the page of Nusuk, when you have to select the packages and it shows Albert Guest, because Albert is a service provider, there's so many tour operators who are using that particular service provider. How will we know what you're using, or how we
in this channel that you're listening to this Telegram? Because you've got the channel and then you've got the chat, which is next to it. In the chat, we're going to be telling you all kinds of stuff. But then when we know, then in the channel, which has very few posts, we're going to put the code for USA JFK bed double. This is the code. For AE JFK quad, this is the code. For Toronto quad, this is the code. This is the link. Everything will be very
online. When I'm seeing the old videos, they are showing as Albert Guest Z3000, something like that, Z1000. So you said that there will be a mention of the airports like Manchester will be listed as one. Will you list it particularly? Will it be mentioned Al Nusuk?
It will be there on Nusuk because that's where it's hosted. That's where you'll buy it. But we will give you the link that you click that will take you to that Nusuk page to buy it.
If in circumstances like God forbid, like we are unable to choose, or if it runs out your package, or if you are unable to mess up and go with some other provider which we don't know, how will we be able to contact them, or what will happen? Like if we are not able to catch.
So you have 2 choices. You either do your own research and get that code and stuff from them,
okay,
or like I said to the person earlier on, I will do my research. I will then give you a backup for what I think that will be working for you. And I will also give that link as well. the emergent, the backup option if you do not get onto this program.
Sheikh, you said you have a team available there. So for the 9th of February, do we provide the details to you for doing this stuff for us, or will we be doing that?
You will be doing it yourself, and we will be online. And if anything happens, or you have any problems, or you have any issue, everyone will be there online at the same time to help you. And it won't just be my team. There'll be my team. There'll be a number of helpers. We will all be here. We will identify it very, very clearly. There will be a system that you will be able to follow very easily. The names will change. The logos will change. Everything will be, inshallah, organized from this channel, inshallah.
All right. Sheikh, what is the base camp? Like, is it a particularly place like Azizia or something like that?
It is our Azizia building. Simply put, it's our Azizia building. And just give us a few days. There's a very nice video coming soon.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Jazakum.
Barakallahu feek. Banu Shah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Thank you so much for this Q&A. I've been very attracted to, I think, your sister, the host, and I was on just a general albeit seminar. So I've just joined in now and want to join your group, inshallah. It's me and my husband going to Hajj this year, inshallah. I just wanted to ask you 3 questions quickly. I haven't got Starling. My son has. Is it all right for him to pay into the e-wallet?
Yes.
Right. Secondly, is when the money is taken by Nusuk, what name does it show up on the account? Is it Al-Bayt, your name, or is it just Nusuk Hajj?
Say that again.
When the money, like you said, we're buying a Hajj package. So when Starling, when my son is actually, on the bank statement, what comes up? Does your name come up, or does Nusuk Hajj come
up? I wish my name would come up. That's a really good question. I see Nusayba online. Nusayba, do you know that? It's a random name. It says something like, it might say something like Pilgrimage Services, Ar-Rajahi Bank, or Nusayba,
Abu Eesa?
Yeah. What comes up? Who is that payment actually made to? What comes up on the invoice?
I think it was Ar-Rajahi last year. I'm not sure who it is this year.
Yeah, it's some random name, but it's not a name that's going to have any connection to make any sense to the Hajj package.
Right. I'm just asking you because just in case the e-wallet doesn't get the money, I mean, through the Starling, if it doesn't go through, so I need to contact them. So they would ask me, wouldn't they? Who is it you're trying to pay?
Got it. Well, that's actually a very good point, but you've actually answered your own question, because if it doesn't go through, it will say to you that there's some people that are trying to take 50,000 riyals, and you say, yeah, I know who they are. So if that would be the one person.
Sorry, Sheikh. If it's just out of curiosity, Banu, you can post it in the Hajj AE 2025 chat. We have people who booked with us last year, and they can tell you.
Yes, good point. With that.
And my third question was...
you understood what Widad just said.
The quad rooms that you're talking about, double and triple or quad, is that you're referring to the Makkah Hotel and the Aziza Hotel?
No. So when you read the statement double and triple and quad, this is referring to Medina, the first 4 days in Medina, and then it's referring to the next 4 days in Mecca. Then after that, everybody then gets split by gender. All the ladies go into like 2 floors in quad rooms, nice quad rooms, and all the men go into their floors in quad rooms. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Banu, listen to me. Wait. I asked you a question. Did you understand what Widad just told you about your query?
Regarding the payment?
The payment. Yeah. Yes. She said, post it in the chat, our chat. When I say, I mean the chat, which is the Hajj with AE chat.
Right. Okay.
And in there are 24 people, who paid, who can look at their invoice and tell you what the actual name is.
Fine. Okay. Shukriya.
All right. Barakallah feek. No problem. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
If we could please have Zobia. Zobia, go ahead.
Zobia?
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Assalam.
I feel like you touched on this topic so many times that I may be just asking the same question. So I'm sorry
And you
about
just
that.
want me to touch on it one more time for you, right?
Yeah, just one more time,
Why not,
if you don't
Zobia?
mind.
Why not? Why not?
So I know you said we should always have backup options. So say we've decided that me and my husband that we want to go with Hajj with AE and we're going to go for the quad options. And for whatever reason, say the quad, it sells out. And we like don't have enough money now for a triple or a double. Would you say that we should now load maybe a little more just in case to, I guess,
Absolutely.
account for that situation?
Absolutely. That's very well said, because it has not been articulated like you have articulated. When it comes, everybody, to crediting your e-wallet, if you are committed to a program, then you should be loading that e-wallet with a little over, not your quad price, but the highest price, the double price. That is absolutely very well said, Zobia. See?
Perfect.
Even
Thank you. I don't feel bad for making you touch on it one more
This
time.
is the point. Even asking a question for the 10th time adds something new and a benefit, mashallah. So this is important, everybody. I hope you understood this question. That if you are always planning to go for a quad, that's going to be maybe £1,000 or £500 or dollars cheaper than the double one. And we said that you're going to add a little bit more because we just don't know what's going on. You making your calculation should be aiming above the double, just in case that you realize that that's sold out and then you're going to have to go for the double. And if you get the quad and you've got that money, it's coming back anyway. And if it loses 1.5%, then $20, $30 that you're going to lose for this process is worth the headache. So good question, Zobia. Well done.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Well, yeah. I want to say that there's a Adiba. I just want to say, because I see her, Adina, sorry, not Adiba. Adina, I see your name go up and down and up and down. If you want to speak, then unmute yourself. I just noticed I saw your hand, and I don't know if anybody else sees it.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam. It is Adina. Yes, go ahead, Adina.
You might have answered this question before, but I was wondering on my Nusuk page, now I have been verified, alhamdulillah, today. But now on the Nusuk page, before the activation of the digital wallet, there's it says select preferred category, and under the select preferred category, it also says pending, and then it shows me luxury, standard, and premium packages, but obviously we don't have access to them yet. Should I just disregard that right now and then just
disregard it, but it's actually meaningless. But I just want you to select luxury shifting. So press shifting, press luxury, and save, and that's it. It's irrelevant, but do that. Luxury shifting.
Okay, sounds good. And then once the activation of the e-wallet happens, that's when we
get to see everything, and that's when we'll send you the links, and then you can open it up, and then we'll study it together in a webinar. We'll go through all the details. I'll explain everything. Everything will be sorted.
Okay, sounds good. And then I will be, inshallah, coming from Canada. So again, so it would be 20 grand plus. I assume I should put in my.
I hope not. I hope not. I'm still hopeful. I hope I don't eat my words, but I'm hopeful that it's somewhere in the 19, 18, heavy 18s, the maybe mid 19s. But yeah, you would be planning to put in 20 per head to cover things. Yes. Like we said to Zobia before. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
React.
Sakina, please unmute yourself. Go ahead. Sakina? We might have gone to pray Maghrib. She messaged me privately. Let's go for Afroz Mirza, please. Unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salam.
I have done Hajj like perhaps 10 years ago with that, like before marriage. And this year, like my husband and I are planning to go Hajj with your group, inshallah. And both of us are verified. My question to you is, What is your advice for me to go on a Hajj this year, considering I have 3-year-old and 1-year-old at home?
How's the care for them? Who's going to do that?
I have my mom, and then I'm going to ask my sisters if they can come in and help out.
I'll say this, right? Obviously, Hajj is not obligatory upon you. Let's get that out the way, right? It's not obligatory upon you. Our program, I have to tell you, kind of skews things because traditionally and classically, I know this is going to sound crazy, but traditionally people were just happy to get Hajj over and done with. Because not only is it expensive, but it's really tough. And for decades, it's not been a great experience. Our Hajj is like a holiday, right? Our Hajj is like an Islamic retreat. It's like, it's so much fun. We look forward to it so much. People who come, they dream and they say, I can't wait to go back again one day, whatever. It's a very different mentality to how it used to be. Now, that's important for me to say that because therefore it's like going to your favorite holiday destination. You always want to go back again, and it's not nice to be told you can't go back again. So I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't go back again because I know how much people enjoy it. But the facts are the facts. Enjoyment aside, you have done your obligatory Hajj. Now what you need to look at is the evidences, the hadith. What do they tell us to do? The Prophet ﷺ said that we should follow Hajj with more Hajj and Umrah with more Umrah. And he ﷺ said that it puts barakah in your wealth, meaning it removes poverty. And he said that it removes the sin. It removes sin. So this indicates that we should be doing it as much as we possibly can when we have the financial means. It doesn't mean that you should save the money for something else or use it something else. It's an act of worship. Like, I've read the Quran today. Should I read some tomorrow? Yes. I've read Nafil today. Should I read some Nafil tomorrow? Yes. So that should be your attitude. Now, on the other side, you've got to look at what's going to happen. So, for example, we learn that when a person is praying Nafil, that if your father calls you, you have to break the Nafil. And we have a very famous hadith about the Prophet ﷺ in how a person his life was ruined by not doing that, right? And so if a father calls you during obligatory prayer, you finish it. But in the Nafil prayer, you continue. And I just said a minute ago that if you pray Nafil today, you pray Nafil tomorrow. But I've also said that Nafil itself, it is contingent upon other factors. So there are other rights that need to be considered. So I would say to you that in this scenario, your father here is your 3-year-old and your 1-year-old and their care. The 3-year-old doesn't have any obligatory requirements. It doesn't matter whether you're there or not there as long as they're looked after. The 1-year-old is the same unless they're being breastfed. If they're being breastfed, then it is their right for that to continue. It does not need to be expressed live. It can be pre-expressed and then left in storage and in preserved conditions. And you will not be in sin. You will not have done anything wrong, and you will not have transgressed rights. However, if you're having to go and use family members that don't want to do this and are not good at it, versus people who do and have had experience with your kids, that changes the ruling as well. And so I would eventually say that going to Hajj is always good. And going to Hajj in a program like this is one of the best things that you would ever have in your life. I know that. And all the people that are in the group that are there from last year and the year before, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll do it again in a heartbeat if they've got the money. If you've got the money, I'll say treat yourself and have a great time and enjoy what's going to happen. But please make sure that your kids don't suffer and that the family members are not going to be upset and angry with you for doing it. Because some might get a bit, I'm teaching Protect This House right now. Protect This House is a class on family politics and everything. And in that, it is important for you to know that what family feel forced to say is different from what they actually feel. And a lot of people will say, why would she do that? I heard this on a conversation the other day, by the way. a man said about his sister-in-law, and he was furious. He said, she's done Hajj. Why is she leaving my dad? So she is looking after his father, because obviously she's married to his brother and he's living in a separate house. And he said, why is she going to Hajj? She's already done obligation. And I said to him, why are you not looking after your dad and letting her to go and do what she wants to do? All her life, not even her father, is her father-in-law. She does it out of a duty to her husband. She's not obligated to look after her husband, after her father-in-law. She does it out of loyalty to her thingy. Why are you not stepping up and saying whatever? He goes, that's a different issue. I said, it's the issue that you don't want to address. So what I want to say to you is that you need to be aware, and I'm sure you are, that these politics and Baradari issues and whatever in the Khandan are there. And as long as it doesn't cause lasting damage and people are happy because you do it for them and they do it for you, and there's that culture and the generations are different, then absolutely why not? But if you've identified that there's going to be some fitna and there's going to be people that are going to be X, Y, Z, then it's not worth it. Then you've got to make a decision based upon that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does completely. Yeah, thank you so much. Jazakallah.
Yeah.
I'll try once more. Sakina, please unmute yourself if you're there.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Alaikum salam. Yeah.
Okay. How are you doing, Abu Eesa?
I'm all right, Sakina. What are you saying, bro?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. I have two questions for you. So
I have a question. I have a question for you. Where are you hiding your miskin husband? Miskin, where is he? I want to know.
He's at home. He's here. He's present. Alhamdulillah.
Honestly, man,
he's not with me right now, though. But
you gotta give him the mic a little bit more, man. You're becoming too dominant in this group, bro.
Well, I guess that's what it is for now.
All right, yallah. My missus gives salam, by the way, Sakina.
I will let him know, inshallah. So my question.
My missus gives you salam, not him.
What'd you say?
I said my missus gives you salam.
Oh, my salams to her too.
All right, carry on.
Thank you very much. All righty. So my two questions are about the vaccine. Number one, so I know you mentioned in the first webinar about the meningitis. However, in the Nusuk application, it asks like, have you got the necessary vaccines or whatever that question says. And in the video guide, he just kind of brushed over that part. So he didn't really say no or yes, or he just kind of clicked no. So I wasn't sure, like, I put yes and put like COVID vaccine. So I don't know if like maybe I should have is that why I'm not verified? I guess.
Correct. No. The reason he brushed over it, is because it's an irrelevant question to the application. Whether you put yes,
that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, whether you put yes or no, and whatever you write down, that's not going to be measured in Nusuk. That's going to be measured at the airline, at the check-in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So the meningitis is required, though, right?
It is required, and the check-in staff will be fined $1,500 per person to be paid from their own pay packet if they allow a person to land in Saudi Arabia and they do not have the meningitis certificate. It will be traced back to the flight they came back on. It will be traced to who was the person who checked in. $1,500 will be docked from their pay.
Okay. I know you got that, but I'll make sure that we get the vaccine, inshallah.
Yeah.
And then my other question is about the custom flights. I'm not really sure I understand what the difference between the custom flights and the regular is. So I just wanted you to help me clarify that. And what does that mean?
So I'm going to say, Sakina, that it's good that you don't know. And the reason is because you have to, from a strategy point of view, have to approach this Hajj as if the custom flights doesn't exist.
Okay.
Now, I know that sounds weird, and you know that I'm not that guy who shies away from a question. This is the best answer that you will hear, because anybody that depends upon a custom flight from people that can get a group flight risks losing their place. The only person in this call and in this group that's listening to, watching this recording, the only person that should be thinking about custom flights, global flights that opens a week later, are those folks that do not have an option to get a group flight because they live in a Scandinavian country, because they live in Australia, because they live, but anyone in Canada, US, UK must not think about custom flights. They will risk the quota going. They will make a massive mistake. We cannot take that risk. Your Americans just focus on JFK. Canadians just focus on Toronto. Brits focus on London and Manchester. That's it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Jazakumullah.
All right. Stay in touch.
All right.
Inshallah.
Please, Bushra, unmute yourself to ask your question. Bushra.
SPL is unmuted. I think they wanted to
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam. Okay.
Sorry,
carry on, Bushra. Yeah, carry on.
I just had two questions. I'll make it quick. The first question I had is I'm going with my husband and I want to know, because we don't mind if we go for triple or quad, would you advise us to go for quad straight away to prevent all the hassle of the...
Did you hear my answer to, I want to say it was Mohammed Patel, I think. Did you hear my answer where I said that if you guys fill in the form properly, then I might turn around and say to you, stick to what you want to do?
Yes, I did hear that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my answer to you as well. My answer to everybody when it comes to their room situation is that after the next few days, and I want you to understand what's going to happen, by the way. Yeah, I want you to imagine, in a couple of days, e-wallet's going to go live. And then everybody's going to see all the packages, and then everyone's going to start adding the one that they want to into their checkout. So add double, add quad, whatever, whatnot. And they think they're done. That's when we start getting busy and start doing the polls. And after the polls, then we do our session, and I'm going to turn around, I'm going to say, you know what, guys, I think we're good for everybody to go for what they wanted to go for. Then everyone's going to go serious, yeah? And I'll say, yep. So those who want doubles, go back and go for your double. And like a person like you, for example, who went and took a quad because you were really kind of, worried you wouldn't get your double, you'd go back, you'll clear cart, go back and put double back in, and then leave it. That's how relaxed the situation is going to be. You know what I'm saying? We've got plenty of time. It doesn't matter if the e-wallet's not live for another week even. We'll have over 10 days. Yani, we will be in a scenario where we will be in this session like this. Nusuk, you'll be on the thingy, you'll be watching this on the phone, you're going to Nusuk and you'll say, what is it then? What do I choose? And I'll say, yeah, choose that one. And then you'll choose that one. Because we're, like I said, as long as everybody follows the polls, the instructions I ask for, and I get my data and I make my predictions and I say, yeah, you know what, I think you're going to be good for that. Then you will go for what you want to. And if I say to you, you know what, I think that it makes more sense for you to go for a quad, and you're young and you're okay. And, I'll make those kind of assessments, inshallah, and I'll let you know.
Okay, inshallah. Thank you, Shaykh. I have one more question, just to kind of mentally prepare ourselves for the logistics when, let's say if it is on the 9th of Feb, the packages drop. Just from your experiences, how has it been with regards to, how it is like, it crashes and there's loads of back and forth. From your experience, how long was that back and forth staying glued to the computer last? So I could just kind of prepare myself for it.
Wallahi, to be honest, Bushra, you need to prepare yourself for a nightmare. That's what you need to prepare yourself for. Yeah, and for me to say to you anything else is just me being irresponsible. First of all, I think it's going to be fine. But in terms of preparation, you should always be worst case scenario. I want to say, and my memory is very poor with that, I'm going to need your help again, but I'm pretty sure that it went live at something like 8 p.m. or whatever, UK time.
Yeah.
Crashed like the mother of all crashes. And then they started releasing statements or something that it will go back live again about like 3 o'clock in the morning or something.
Yeah, but I can tell you, we were like sharing pictures of the coffee that we were all drinking because it was late at night. We were all trying to stay awake. And sometimes just sitting at the computer for hours, just refreshing, crashing.
And then without, sorry to interrupt, if I remember correctly, so many of us got so fed up that even Nusuk understood that we were not interested in the relaunch. And it changed it. I think if I remember correctly, it said we're looking to fix this and go live again at 1 o'clock. And then it said that we're looking to fix it and then go live at 3 o'clock. And by the time that they'd done their full bestie yani themselves, and we'd drunk every single coffee and we were all dead, Nusayba's going to tell us now. Go, Nusayba, go on.
Go on, and that was a nightmare night, wasn't it, really?
It was like stop, start.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we're starting, and then we didn't. And then we're starting, and then there was a glitch, and then something happened, and yeah.
And I think what happened is that they themselves said, you know what, we're kind of sorry for messing you about. We're not going to tell you it's going to start again in a couple of hours. Yep. We're closing it down and we're going to start again in a couple of days. We'll let you know.
And I think it got to a point where they actually didn't tell anyone and it just started.
It just started, correct. Yeah. It just went up a little bit. So you got to mentally be ready for the worst, but also know that there are benefits. Like I said at the beginning, it's not all doom and gloom. They do feel guilty and they might then throw in extra visas, which is happy days for everybody. Because remember what I said, it is not the Al-Bayt quota that will be your problem. It is not the packages or the partners and their quotas that will be your problem. These will not be the things that will be sold out. I've said again and again that with Al-Bayt, if you ask for the program that you want to go on, it is almost definite this year that you will go, unless the country quota runs out. It is that which is your challenge. And if there are things that happen that lead to the quota increasing, that's in our interest. And I know that's not me saying let the crash come so that it can go up, but if it comes, they do then become more lenient in doing these kind of things, extending things out, increasing the quota, making the hours a bit more, whatever. So I do want to say to you, be ready for the worst, but there's a lot riding on Nusuk, because I was with that, although today I got proper cussed, but I was with a meeting with that Hajj minister. And this Hajj minister was saying that, every system requires 1 or 2 years to do things, and in the third year, it gets to where it wants to. This is that third year, right? And it's done all of its mashups and whatnot. So there's a lot riding on the reputation of the minister and whatever. So now, obviously, he's done his own bestie now because he's already 2 days late on his e-wallet. But I think that it won't be as bad as it gets.
Okay, inshallah. Thank you so much, everyone.
As you said, expect the worst. If you expect the worst, khalas, you're good to go.
Easy tactic that. Always expect the worst, and it can never then get any worse than that. You know what I mean? Everything's a bonus. I don't want to
I'm just going to thank you for a great session. I'm dropping out. I've got a few tasks to do.
Barakallah, appreciate your time. We're going to also now start wrapping it up. GT, a few other people. Thank you, Nusayba. A few other people will give a shout. Otherwise, it's getting late because it's a working day. Everybody other than Abid Sami has work tomorrow. So we need to please start reducing questions, sticking questions on the chat if we need to. Abid Sami can stay around for a couple of hours because he's got nothing. Right, carry on.
Ibrahim, please unmute yourself. Ibrahim. And then SL, I know, was waiting to speak. SL.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ibrahim. Okay, SL, go ahead.
Sorry, Shalisa. Oh, go ahead, Brother Ibrahim. I'll do it afterwards. No problem.
Yeah, actually, I raised up my hand when you were talking to Sakina, so I thought you want to ask me something.
I wanted to say that
I don't actually have a question.
I wanted to say Sakina's taking all of your light, bro, and you need to get your voice.
I know, I'm the one behind the scene.
I know, bro.
I'm working hard to make it so.
You need more spec put on your name, bro. We can't wait to have you with us, bro. Barakallah fik, Ibrahim.
Thank you, Sheikh. Yeah.
SL, go ahead, bro. SL, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Just a couple
what's your
questions.
name, man? I don't like this SL Babas here. What's your first name?
Sorry, first name is Shalisa. Actually,
Sharifa,
that's my first question about. I got a couple of different answers, so I was just hoping you can clarify from your experience. When I was doing my Nusuk profile, I didn't understand that my second name / father's name, I thought I had to put father's name, and that didn't really make sense because it's not on my passport. So my profile does not match my passport. Should I go back and edit it?
Absolutely, 100%.
And I've been verified already.
You've been verified already?
Yes.
Oh, no. Wait, so what is your full name as per the
BB
passport?
Shaliza. BB Shaliza is my full name. So I put BB as
first name, BB, and then Sharifa is the middle name on the passport.
Right. And then Latif.
And the surname?
Latif.
And that's 3, therefore, words, yeah?
Yes.
So 1, 2, and then surname like that. On Nusuk, what did you put?
Just BB Latif. And I put the passport there, and the passport has my full name, and they verified it at BB Latif. So I got one saying it's going to be a problem for visas, go back and change it because they're verifying now. It won't be a problem, verify it. And the other one said, khalas, don't touch anything.
And as you can see by me doing my deep philosophical thingy, there is argument for this and there's an argument for that. You're in the chat, aren't you, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I want you to ask me this question in the chat or send me a private, the Big Easy. Send me a message and I'm going to get my answer from someone who is behind the scenes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that one. And the second thing is myself and my children, my husband, were planning to go. So that's 11 of us. We can't have one profile. So we have 7 in one profile. Is there any opportunity or any chance that when I go to buy a package for 7 of us, that 3 will get it because we ran out of quota and the other 4 won't? And I have to choose another package? Or will all be rejected or will be all accepted?
Correct.
Okay.
And you, Sharifa, will need to very much be, locked in our strategy. Because so you did it as a 7 and a 4, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah. And inshallah, when all of you make it through, you're going to be intending to take 2 quads and a triple?
No, we'll just do quads. We'll have another brother with us. It's fine.
Great. So then that's going to make it easy. Inshallah.
Well, now you have me thinking that if I really want to go with you, now I have to up the ante and do triple and double. Be prepared to pay for that, no?
No. Again, like I've been saying to Zobia and to Mohammed Patel and to everybody, it's going to be important that, like, when a poll comes. So here's a question for you: did you answer the initial poll?
Was it today, sir, or before?
No. This was like last week.
When we were asking about yes, I did answer that one.
How did you answer it with 11 people?
For quad, no?
No.
The type of package, luxury. No, was it luxury shifting?
No. So on this channel that you're listening to this thing, this webinar, I asked a poll about 4 or 5 days ago, and it said, are you not going with us, but you're just looking for some benefit? Are you planning to go with us? I'm alone.
No, I missed that poll. I saw the results.
Okay,
but I didn't.
That's fine. I want you, if you're serious about this program, I want you to go and fill it in. That's important.
Okay.
It's just you just got to go.
It was posted 17th of January, Sharifa. So if you scroll up to the
17th of January. And I want you to understand that you will not find an answer for yourself because it goes from not going to, I want to say, 7 people. Yeah. And it tells you that only the lead pilgrim is allowed to vote on this poll to avoid double answers. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
So would I not be the lead on one and then my son will be the lead on the other one for 4?
That's exactly what I want you to do. That's what I was going to say to you. I want your son and you for you to select 7.
Yes.
And for your
son.
Yeah.
Maximum answer is 8. So she can select 8. And then you can
good.
select 3.
Yeah, exactly. Then, Sharifa, you will do 7. Your son will do 4 from the same channel. Nobody else in the family will vote on it. It's very important that they don't touch it. That helps us with our figures. And in the future polls that are coming, you're going to make sure that you answer it in the same way. And we'll always make sure that we keep putting the option up until as maximum as we can.
Okay.
All right. Nice one. Barakallahu feek, Sharifa.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Yalla, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you feeling, Sheikh? You want to
No, so there's a couple of people that want to ask, and I don't want people who are repeat askers. They can use the chat, but those who are asking first time because it's something important, I want you to put your hand up right now. Okay, Halima, go ahead. And again, anybody else that wants to answer, we'll do it for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can use the chat and we'll get back to you. Halima, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Oh, no, you used to be.
I've allowed her to speak, Halima Akhtar, but I don't know if she's...
Halima, go ahead. Unmute.
If not Halima, could we please have... There's like a name with a squiggly line. Let's go. Ayn.
It's an Ayn. Halima. It's Halima.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
I'm actually from Sweden, so I have been following the group, and then I was just wondering, like, is it possible for us to join from Sweden? How does it work?
As it stands right now, Halima, as it stands right now today, the answer is no, because they're not allowing non-citizens of the country, and the country here means UK, US, Canada, to go on a program, okay, at the moment. But this could change. So I want you to stay very close to the channel and the chat. And in the next week, this could change. And if it does, then you've got that option. In the meantime, you should look for the options that are available from Sweden that Al Bayt have. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Barakallahu feek. Roma, go ahead. Roma, unmute yourself.
If not Roma, then GT.
GT, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum assalam.
Oh, I had the same question. I'm living in Sweden too, and it's a headache from here.
Yes, you know, it was. I told you that a lot of positive things about Nusuk this year, and this was the worst part of Nusuk, that it got rid of custom flights for the people that needed it most, and that's what they should have done. What they should have done this year is to restrict custom flights. I agree with them on that, but they should have restricted it to people like you. And yet last year we had the Europeans, we had Scandinavians, and we had all kinds of folks come in. But I want to say that there is still a possibility of this happening. There is. So don't lose hope. Lots of dua.
Inshallah.
Halima, I say this to you. I say it to you. I say it to some of the other gang that are on that have messaged us. Lots of dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows them to change their hearts and allow the people that are coming from other countries to take the remaining quota. And I've got quite a bit of hope, inshallah. So stay positive.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Barakallahu feek.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sister Roma.
Yes.
So I have a very similar situation like the sister that discussed earlier. My daughter, inshallah, will be traveling with us, and her last name is missing a hyphen. So how do I deal with that situation? All of us have been verified.
Missing just the hyphen.
Yeah, so she has double last name, so it's one name and then hyphen and another name. And what got approved, everything looks like it went through fine, no issue. It's just a hyphen in the last name.
So, but the two words are there in the name.
That's correct. Yes, the two words are there.
So what's the hyphen between friends, bro? Come on, man. Nobody cares about hyphens. But they don't even know what a hyphen is. They'll be saying it's a dash. People like Wadad will say it's a minus sign. Yeah. Listen, don't worry about that one little bit.
Okay, great. Jazakallah. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Hanan, please unmute yourself, Hanan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for all the questions. Just a quick one here. You were talking about Starling for e-wallet top-up.
Yes.
So I wanted to double check the spelling and to see if it's available in Canada or what would be the equivalent.
No, Starling is not equivalent, and our recommendation to the closest bank to Starling is something called Wise. and you need to then get a physical card. Are you in our chat?
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't know what the difference is between the chat and channel. Hanan, go to wise.com. That's the card that most of our Canadian Hujjaj used last year. I'm also hearing of some people looking into Wealth Simple, but we don't have any anecdotal evidence that one works well. We just hear people mentioning it. But people who came with us last year, they used Wise. The Canadians that came with us last year, they really liked it.
Okay, perfect. Jazakallah.
We advise that you order the physical card. Now, the problem is I think it takes a while for that to arrive in the mail. So you can try using it without the physical card, but I would join the chat. It's t.me.
No, bro, slow down, man. She's in the channel, bro. It's right there, man. She's in the channel. And now what I want you to do, just look in the channel. The chat link is right there. But I also want you to message with that, okay? So you can find with that easily by just searching in the channel and in the members and in the chat. Just message with that, and she'll be able to give you the information that you need. All right?
Okay, Jazakallah. Thank you.
Mo Amin, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I'm Muhammad. So a quick one. I understand the program is 17 days, and
yes.
If I cannot make 17 days, is there a flexibility that I can return early, booking my own flight, or that's not going to be possible?
I don't want it to be possible for multiple reasons, because it will not give you the full experience. It will give you a lot of headache, but technically it is possible. I can't lie to you. I don't want you to do it, but technically it is possible. But it comes at obviously significant cost.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's just a thing with the work. So I will do my best to secure the 17 days. But I mean, in worst case scenario, is it possible, or I can just restrictly?
Correct. Worst case scenario, it is possible. Just crazy cost. But yes, inshallah, it doesn't come to that. Inshallah, it becomes easy for you. But yes, which gateway are you planning?
Manchester, inshallah.
Yeah, I think that you're going to be okay, inshallah. Like I mentioned at the beginning, were you here at the beginning?
Yes, from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm getting good. This is obviously a very developing situation, but I'm getting very good vibes for 17th to the 24th till the 10th being whatever, But I will also say that Turkish Airlines has the #1 reputation for changing flights and dates. I was in Umrah with my group in Umrah in November. 150 people on the JFK flight. At the check-in, they cancelled the flight.
Wow.
Just cancelled it. Just 150 people. And they had to put all of those people into hotels. There's nothing wrong with the no weather, no storm, no nothing, but operational reasons. And it's a great airline. We're so dependent upon it, but they do pull some kebab moves like that, man. They really do, man. So, but anyway, I'm pretty comfortable with the Manchester. I feel you're going to be okay, inshallah. But it is possible. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
The last person I think is Abdurrahman.
I saw Farouk Niazi as well, by the way. Don't you skank my Farouk Niazi miskin, put his hand up.
He's going to have to raise his hand again. I don't see him here in the list.
No problem. But Abdurrahman, go ahead. Abdurrahman.
Yeah.
Farouk. Anybody? Khalas. Are we done, folks?
I think we call it a night. It's past midnight for you, so let's call it a night. And yeah, please, everybody, there's the chat. You'll see the link for that in the channel. If you go to Hajj AE 2025, the link to join the chat is there. You can ask your questions in the chat, and somebody will get back to you as soon as they can.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
Right at the last second. Go on, Rahman. Take us home, bro. Take us home.
No, so today was a challenging day. I was out and we couldn't connect to this seminar. I'm not sure if this was recorded or not. If it was, it is.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. We will wait for the recording to be shared again. But we are in Canada, and inshallah, my wife and my son are planning this year, inshallah. So, is there an office that we can connect to have our queries answered?
You see this here, brother? Abdurrahman, this is the best office in the world.
No, for sure. But the timings is a challenge, right? You're in the UK, if I'm not wrong.
Brother, half of my team is in Canada. Tell me what it is that you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what do you need.
No, I just connected, but and at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We want you to take rest because we have days coming in the near future where 24/7 you are available. But right now, you also need, and you and your team need to get the rest that you can. But it was just that, if there's a number or an office in Canada that we can reach out to, inshallah, we'll do that. An easy way out.
So Jazakallah khair, I appreciate the sentiment. I want you to listen to me, Abdurrahman. You not reaching out and worrying about how tired we are or not tired for us, whatever, causes a problem for us. And we much prefer that you stay on us and in contact with us and the like. What's going to happen, what I want you to do right now is I want you to message Widad, okay? Because the names are all very similar and you are in the channel right now. And I want you, unless Widad you're able to do the reverse, but it's easier for you to do it, Abdurrahman, okay? That you can see Widad right there, the host, and you can see that her name is there, WIDAD. I want you to go. I want you to go into the chat. In the channel, you can see the link for the chat. Press the link, and you'll see Widad's comment there. You will message her, and she's obviously very close to you there in Toronto. And she will be available for you to sort out documents, sort out anything that you need, any specific things. We have other Canadian team members as well, but you do not need to worry about us. We are across 4 different time zones. So we are, alhamdulillah, you've got nothing to worry about. Anytime you need anything, any issue, any whatever, we've got all these folks, and Widad will help you specifically. Don't worry. All right?
It's been like 12 years that I've been to Hajj. 2012. I know it's grown way above than what it was. And with Nusuk, I think then with no technology, it was a different challenge. And with Nusuk now, it's a bigger challenge. It's a different beast altogether, to be honest. And what you and your team are doing, Jazakallah khair. I have no words. And I think I speak for everybody else. We cannot express our gratitude.
Barakallahu feek. We appreciate you, bro. Jazakumullah khair.
Inshallah, without message me, inshallah, I'll message you separately.
I sent you a message, so you'll see a message from me now.
Inshallah. I will be in touch. Jazakallah khair.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining. Jazakumullah khair. We will post the recording as soon as possible to the channel. And again, the link to join the chat is in the channel already. You'll see it there. You can join there to post your written questions if you didn't get the chance to speak on the mic today. Barakallahu feekum.
All right, guys. Take care, folks. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.